We do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, it's on.
All right.
Welcome back to another week of Manifestations.
What's cracking?
And y'all know the rest of the panel that's here with us. So
Yeah.
kind of glad for us to get into this topic tonight. Very important topic because it is a topic that seems to keep reoccurring. I think every generation now since the 60s, every generation has been talking about this topic. And we want to basically talk about the topic, identify it, and then come up with solutions. So hopefully with this dialogue that we can put an end to the gender wars, because the gender wars is very divisive and it doesn't do anything productive for our community. And we have facts and statistics that prove that how dangerous the gender wars can be. So we want to nip that in the bud and keep us on the track of building in a more revolutionary and evolutionary way that is very positive and tangible for our children and next generation. So, with that being said, we definitely are going to go into the main topic today, which is the Black gender war, because it seems like it's very prevalent in the Black community. This is something that we want to tackle because it affects us majorly. Yes, gender wars go on throughout society and every race and every culture, but our culture is the one that's affected the most because we are on the equivalent level of being the last class citizen, especially here in the USA. So we want to get that nipped in the bud so we can progress in a more financial level that will be more impactful and not do the bickering, fighting, and the dividing which comes along with the gender war. So with that, we want to get into the definition of the gender war, a so-called war, quote, air quote, that is occurring online between straight males and straight females. On one hand, you have females pushing the narrative that all men are misogynistic, cheaters, abusers, narcissistic, and uncaring. On the other hand, you have males pushing the narrative that females are superficial, only caring about looks, money, fame, height, etc., unloyal, promiscuous, dishonest, and inherently evil. These two narratives have caused both men and women online to harass and bully each other to the point where both genders appear to be at war, quote unquote, air quote, with each other. While some men and some women do follow these stereotypes, not every person, male or female, is a quarter as bad as the internet makes each gender to be. If you go out in the real world, you'll see that there are good people associated with both genders. The majority of the men out are very loving and humble, and meanwhile, the majority of the women out there in the real world are very loyal and kind-hearted. So just wanted to put that out there. You guys agree with that? That seems like a fair assessment.
I don't know about most, sort of, kind of. It's really hard to quantify, but I will say that I do feel that it is a bit exaggerated. You know,
Yes.
um, I do feel that it is a bit exaggerated, whereas people make it seem like it's more than it is. And I think the loudness and, the uncouth nature of some of these people that are out here doing this
Mhm.
also make it seem like more than it is. A
Right.
lot of people, there are a lot of brothers who think, for instance, that a lot of black women or most black women are allowed raunchy hood rats. I push back against that every time I hear it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I know too many sisters that are not like that. I think most sisters are somewhere in the middle, pretty moderate, and
Mhm.
they're not over the top and crazy like that. But the loud minority makes it seem like it's a lot more of them than they are. And the supporters, what bothers me so much is the supporters of these people who be acting crazy, which we'll get into. But yeah, yes, and I agree with that statement, but not so much. I will say this: there are more people out here cutting up and acting a fool than it should be.
Mm.
So there are more, significantly more, in fact, than when I was growing up, what have you, when I was in my, let's say, late teens, early 20s. Most of the women that were available to me were still, women that you could think about having a life with. You know what I mean? Pretty, emotionally stable. They looked towards having wife qualities and settling down or whatever. It was a thing where being ladylike was still important. And sisters, I'm not beating up on the women here, but I only date women, so I can only have this reference point. Any sisters want to chime in on the men, feel free to call in. But it seemed to be a lot more quality women back then. Whereas now you have this narrative that hoes are winning. So you got a lot of women who I know personally were very decent women
Mhm.
acting out, acting a fool, acting crazy, doing crazy stuff because they see it and they don't see the immediate penalties, the consequences of it. So they think it's
Mhm.
cool. They think it's legit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? What's up, Lowell? Mila? All right, I see y'all.
what's
What's
Hey,
up?
going on, guys?
So, with that being said, do you feel like the opposite could be said as far as with women? Do they feel like less quality men is out here for them? If you see that difference for women, do you feel like it's equivalent opposite for the women or not so much?
absolutely. I do think so. And I think Sister Mila Renee in the comments just said something about speaking to,
Yep.
I need y'all to speak to bitter, miserable men who can't move forward in peace. Often it's the thought that women do this. Why are so many males doing this now? Maybe it's the food and high estrogen. Whoa, Sister Mila Renee coming out swinging, man. I love it. Listen, I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep it a
Whoa.
buck.
Whoa.
I'm gonna keep it a
yeah,
buck because you know me, I have no filter. I give no fucks, right,
yeah,
bruh? A lot of these guys, you've seen a couple of them. I've
yeah,
had to cut them off because they're so damn feminine. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And
Correct.
I can only imagine that that type of energy permeates into their lives with dating and relationships. You know,
Correct.
it is unfortunate, but you got a lot of dudes out here that are really behaving in a very bitch made manner when you start talking about what they're supposed to be doing in the dating and relationship realm and how they comport themselves. You know,
Mhm.
got a lot of dudes out here, they don't represent the calm, they don't represent the direction, they don't represent the rock that you're supposed to be as a man. You know, they're
Yeah.
coming out here, they're flailing all over the place, they're getting bitter, they're getting jealous, they're getting real catty. You
Mhm.
unfortunately you do have a contingency of brothers out here that's like that, and they are no more immune from what I'm seeing than the sisters that I'm discussing. You know,
Mhm.
one of the tenets that I think contributes to, there are five of them actually. We'll talk about them later, but
Yeah.
there are five different types of people that keep these gender wars going. And one of those types of people, you know, are the people that just simply refuse to change. You
Yeah.
know, people who refuse to change and people that want you to be miserable like they are. So they
Yeah.
continue to fan this flame. And, you know, we end up in this perpetual cycle of bullshit. You dig? We got
Definitely.
to change it.
So
We got to change it all because at the end of the day, all this bickering back and forth and no solutions is a problem. We have to start presenting solutions so that we can move forward together as Black families and start building this Black nation, like building it for real. So,
correct. So
yeah,
I want to say that um, one of the pet peeves that I have with the gender war is I don't make posts about women like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I always say to myself, and I think this is one of the reasons why we wanted to build this platform,
yes,
is to make men more aware of themselves, more dominant of themselves, and understand that you avoid the trash that's out in the streets, right?
yeah,
So by you avoiding the trash that's out in the streets, you don't identify it. You don't even need to pick up the trash and throw it in the trash can. You don't have to, interact with the trash. We want you to basically navigate through the streets, avoid the trash, stepping on the trash, and just finding that gem that's buried alongside in the midst of the trash, finding the
mhm,
gem in the midst of the trash. I think that's the narrative that I like to project out there is for these guys to not worry about the trash and basically find the gem in the trash. I think I had made a post the other day. I know you laughed at it, Major, um, when I said that, the dating in the dating world or realm, you can find who you need to find out here. The dating world isn't bad. It's just what you going out there to find, which in honesty it's the dating realm is not bad, right? And why I say it's not bad is because when you are, it looks bad when you're a person that is filtered out the trash. Because if we go on a Google search and we search a majority, a wide band topic, you're gonna get 14,000 search hits.
Yeah.
But if I filter it out and I said, well, here's the topic, but I want to add these extra things in there, and now it goes from 14,000 to about 100, 200, right?
Agreed.
So it's not like even the World Wide Web is opened up for everything. You're not, there's a bunch of trash on the web itself, but you narrow down your field to get exactly the gems out of the web that you want to get. And I feel like the dating realm is the same way.
I agree.
And you are a prime example of that because you got married in the quote unquote air quotes of the trash, right?
Agreed.
If that's how they look at the dating pool as it being trash, then you wouldn't have gotten married if it was so trashed out there. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's, you don't think so?
No. Listen, I have all the respect for what you're saying, brother. I respect and appreciate your optimism. I really do. However, I'm not saying that you can't find what you want. You can definitely find what you want. That's still definitely possible. But you shouldn't have to go through the torture and the seemingly never-ending sifting through the garbage to find this one diamond in the rough, if you will. You dig? It's just too damn much. And the reason why I laughed, I agree with the initial premise of your statement, but I would say me, you, Bobby, we're all pretty evolved brothers, right? So we know that we got to go out there. We got to filter that shit 6 ways to Sunday, and we got to exclude this, exclude that, cut this, cut that. We got to weed out all the bad apples, so to speak. We know that. But most brothers, I don't think, really understand it at that level. You know what I'm saying? And I know personally a lot of brothers out here struggling like hell because the dating pool is so polluted. So my response to that, whereas I agree with it, I respect what you're saying in its general sense, in the premise. You, unfortunately, brother, being that people in this day and age are not raised to be husbands and are not raised to be wives. I asked the sister on one of my posts the other week, she was talking about, she's observed this, she's observed that, but were you raised
don't do it.
To be a wife? She never replied. You understand? Because we're not given. We're taught for things that we should be looking for in mates, but we're not taught what we should be providing as mates. And I think that pretty much applies to everybody. Most of us weren't raised to be husbands or to be wives. So therefore, when we get out in the dating realm and we're looking, there are some people out there who are pretty decent people, pretty cool people, but that don't mean that they're going to be a good mate or a good wife. You dig? And so I think that, pop culture polluting our airwaves, polluting the internet, polluting television, with the imagery and the behavioral types that we see, coupled with the fact that we're not raised to be proper mates, has created, this situation where, even though you may be a good person, you're still not fit to be a husband or wife. You feel me? And I think that is a huge problem. And you have these people that are set in their ways and they think they know everything. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. You dig? But they think they know everything and they're not willing to change. You understand? And so that's where we are. So we got this power struggle with people who really don't know anything, that think they got all the answers, and this constant influx of filth from the internet, from radio, from television, from film, and you got these people acting crazy that know better. that know better. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we're in a strange place right now, man. So I'll land my plane there.
I think we're
All right.
somewhere in the middle of the 2 points there. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
think one of the issues is, and I've spoken before in conversations about this idea. Um, I think when a lot of people, because I was also one of the people that laughed at the status as well too, because I'm like, there's a lot of you're not wrong, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
nuance in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've always described the dating game as about as an elimination game, just like any other
Mhm.
show, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, or whatever reality show you want to talk about. It's the same way, unless you try to do the whole multiple mates thing, then that's a different story, whatever. But if we're talking about the dating game in terms of a person out there looking for their person, their
Mhm.
soulmate, their significant other, their wife, their husband, whatever, then it's a dating game. You have all these billions of people out here on the planet, and your job is to try to filter and siphon through all these people to find the one person.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for multiple people, if every single person you bump into in the span of 24 hours, you're trying
Yeah.
to lock down, then I can definitely
Yeah.
understand why you're that frustrated about, oh, the dating pool is terrible, it's horrible, what have you, because you're trying to find multiple people and you can't find any. But if you're looking
Yeah.
through one for one person, then all these other people is just riffraff. You just knock them to the side because that's not the person. That's not the person.
Right.
Mhm.
Like I think it was like Ann said regarding the whole Google search. Once you narrow down the search list and you get specific, it makes your lens a whole lot smaller. It takes all the clutter out of the way. Now we can
Yes.
focus on what we actually want to zero in on.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, though, um, it would definitely help if there were more quality people, so it's not as much of a hassle to filter through. So that's
Yes.
why we're kind of in the middle there because there should be more people. And I think also, if we're being fair, and I think
Mhm.
brothers like us and sisters like us who are a bit more even keeled, we can kind
Mhm.
of understand what I'm
Mhm.
about to say.
Yeah.
But we also have to be mindful that just because somebody doesn't fit in your system doesn't mean that they're trash. So
Correct.
I've seen people
Agreed.
that will say who aren't conscious about what they're saying. They'll just speak out loud. They'll say the dating pool is terrible. It's horrible. And it'd be one thing if they were talking about because these people are horrible, they have no manners, they're disrespectful, they're ratchet, they're dusty, what have you. But there'll be some
Mhm.
people who will go ahead and say that, and the truth is they don't really have a whole bunch of bad negative experiences out there. They've just bumped into people who don't fit into their system.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
certain things that they need, there's certain prerequisites that has to be set in place. And this person might be good in every other area, but they just don't check off the boxes that need to be checked off.
Real talk.
That
Correct.
doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. That doesn't mean that
Agreed.
they're garbage or
Correct.
trash or basura. It just means that
Correct.
they don't fit in the system. So
Correct.
I think we also need to, and this is something that people in general suffer from, we need to learn how to be very mindful of what we say and how to be intentional with what we're saying. Just because it's not
Yeah.
gloves and a sword or a weapon or a hammer in your hand, it's just words, that doesn't mean that we should be reckless with what we're saying. We should be very intentional and mindful about what it is that we're saying out there, so we're not just tossing out these body blows and liver shots and uppercuts out there randomly, because part of that does contribute to the gender war as well too. When you hear people just
Yeah.
True.
shit talking men and women, men are terrible, women are terrible, but the reality is no, they're not terrible. They just don't fit into what you got going on. Now
True.
you're just
Mhm.
tossing tinder onto the fire, and now this house fire is now about to become some California grade wildfire, and it didn't need to be. So just be
Yeah.
mindful. It's okay to be frustrated. I can get it because a person who's bumping into garbage and a person who's bumping into people who don't fit into their system,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's frustration either way. You're not finding what you want. We get that.
Yeah.
But be mindful in your frustration how you vent it out.
Right.
I like to abide by the principle that I can never remember his name, but Ti's uncle told him in the movie ATL when he towards the end when he sat him down on the bed and he said, "I want you to understand the difference between what you feel and what's real.
Yeah.
Don't
Real
let your
talk.
feelings cloud your vision. Don't be out here operating in your anger and your frustration and your disappointment, whatever. Don't let that get in the way of what's actually happening out here because meanwhile, while you in your feelings, real life is still going on."
Right.
Real life is
Real
still
life.
happening. So,
Mhm.
again, like as it is the case in most things, the truth I think is somewhere in the middle. Is sometimes it can feel like it's one way, sometimes the other.
Agreed.
We definitely have a lot of
Agreed.
debris and a lot of feces and red tide and red algae that's in the dating pool. Let's not get it
Yeah.
twisted. We do. But we also do
Mhm.
have some other people who are quality, and
Yes.
even though they might not fit in our system, they're having similar issues because they're seeing the same things and they're just as frustrated. So
Mhm.
we have a bunch of people who are trying to find the right pieces to their puzzle.
Real
We have to
talk.
be mindful of how we deal with things. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally
Well
agree
said.
with that. I just wanted to, I like to give fair assessments, right? I don't like, here we don't hold accountability to just men. We don't hold accountability to just women. We
Right.
share accountability across the line. It's
yep,
equal on both sides. And I think that's why a lot of people love our platform is because we're not gender biased.
Hmm.
Accountability has no gender when it comes to us. So I don't want to shun the women out there that are the good quality women. Because
Right.
if you look at Sister Mila, she's a good quality woman. So
Hmm.
there's women out there of that same quality that
Right.
there are, like Bobby said, are feeling the same frustration that we might be feeling as well. The difference, I think, that us, right,
Hmm.
and Mila is that we are our persona is very specific to our mate, right?
Yes.
Because the average man cannot, and I don't say it like she's masculine, because Mila is very feminine,
Hmm.
but I say it because she's not a woman that the average guy could actually handle in a way of gentle care, not in a way of debating aggression. So what I say by that is that she has a lot of information. She understands the dynamics of power building and community building. That an average man who's on some yo or following the tribe type stuff is not going to be able to understand a woman like that. So that's why her filter is a little bit different than the
Hmm.
average woman out here. Now, it's the same thing with myself and you guys. You know what I'm saying? Well, Major, you off because you found a woman that fits right in your system with your persona and everything like that, and everything flows real smooth in that whole
Yeah.
setup.
Yes.
Um, Me and Bobby, we have that persona, so the average woman has to come with it in order for that to work, right?
Hmm.
So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm off the radar.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just saying, like, as far as when it comes to that, yes, there are brothers out here like us that are in a similar process because of how they think, their mind, how advanced their mind is, more than the average norm of a man that's out there. So I
Real
get it.
talk.
I understand it. I understand the little, it's a little tuning up and connection to get with the women that needs to be in our system. So I know they're out there. Like I said, you guys said it before, it's just finding them, which is a bit difficult because sometimes she might be in this state, she might not be in this state. The cool thing about online dating is you might connect with her through online dating. So
Yeah.
that's a good advantage of it. Also, if you're a brother that travels, maybe you might travel. Hence why a lot of people, like the passport boys, say that they go overseas and find love overseas. No shade or shun to that, but every instance doesn't mean like women over here, all the women over here isn't bad, and all the women overseas isn't good. So we don't want to put that
Agreed.
perception out there as well.
Hmm.
We want
Hmm.
it to be real where you have to understand that who you are and what you're looking for and not pay attention to what the masses are telling you. Because I think one thing with the passport boys, they make it a broad general statement to make it seem like everybody gets success over there. And then you have these brothers who that go over there that aren't game savvy and game goofy, and they go over there and get robbed, or they
Yeah.
go over there and get played and get
All day.
used, and they turn into this. You're supposed to be this man over here, but then you go over there and become this big time simp to these women because you get sucked in to their cultural elements that you don't find over here. So now your head is just gone. And it's the same thing with a lot of black men and black women that encounter interracial dating. They also get clouded. Damn, there's something new. I don't think I've ran across a woman like this, and head be gone. And next thing you know, you're goofy, just like the little black dude who ends up dating Bill Gates' daughter. And he's running on the internet talking about, I got me a white girl. I got me a white girl. I was tired of you coloreds. I was done with you coloreds. That's game goofy. You know what I'm saying? But we have those type of guys out there, and we don't want you to become one of those type of dudes. So we want you to go out here and assess the field for yourselves. Because if you go based on what you want, you're more likely to connect with who you need to connect with versus getting the ideology of everybody's perception of what a good man or good woman is. So just go out there and find out what you need for your system. Find it, take off, lock it down, and build. Everybody does that. We do nation building at a fast rate. So I definitely wanted to just add that in here. But I did want to say this earlier. I don't like, with the gender war, I don't like this type of post. I'm finding a lot of this type of folks, a lot of this type of posts. So you ask a nigga to do something, it's a bunch of excuses. Let one of his homeboys call, and he's giggling, putting on heels, and running out the door. I seen another post where, men are the new bitches, and
wow.
Men are getting sassy, and men are feminized. It's just a lot of male bashing that I see coming from a lot of women out there. And then there's a lot of men that do the same as well. But I see a lot of women bashing. I don't know if it's because my timeline is full of women, but I see a lot of women bashing. If they're not making a post, they're sharing the post. So there is a kind of a feminine energy that they are labeling men with and posting about it and being disgruntled about it. So I don't know if you guys seen that. Have you guys seen posts like that? What are your thoughts on something that
all the time, constantly? And I can name I can name 5 or 6 of them off the top of my head. And remember I told you, like, I like to follow at least 3 coons at all times, so I know what the coons are thinking. I like to follow, at least 3 misandrists too.
Yeah.
To know what they're thinking. And a lot of them don't even understand that these are misandrist views. You understand? What's going on, Nima? How's everything, sister? All right. And I do see a lot of that, and even I follow a couple misogynists too, because when women try to say to us, "Oh, you hate women," I can show you somebody who hates women. I pull up one of them posts, they're like, "Oh," because and this is again, that list, that 5-piece, it details those people too, because these are part of the people who are just miserable. And they don't know how to articulate their frustration with the opposite gender in a proper manner. You know what I'm saying? There are ways, constructive ways, and intelligent ways to articulate your frustrations with the other gender. You understand? And I think that we all need to kind of gain a mastery of that so that we don't come into the discussion offending everybody, and then everybody just kind of shuts down and they're not really listening to what you're saying, because you could have a very valid and accurate point, but because of the way that you're saying it, people are like, "Oh, I don't want to listen to nothing this nigga got to say." You understand what I'm saying? And like females who post that type of stuff that you just posted, and even guys who post, similar stuff, I really don't take anything that they say seriously. Because it's just too damn over the top. You're too angry and too bitter to even come to the table in good faith and want to have a discussion and learn something. You just want to vent. You just want to vent. You know what I'm saying? In hopes, let's keep it a buck, in hopes a lot of time that you hurt some of the males who are following you. you know, and I say that to these sisters now. It's like, you know, it would behoove you to, you know, post something that's more thought provoking and thoughtful instead of just trying to tear people down with your post, because dudes just tune you out when you post, when you're talking stupid like this. And by the way, if you ever run into any of these dudes and you know y'all start jibbing and you know you get a little vibe going, they just gonna fuck you. And they're not going to call back or none of that, because they they didn't come to you in good faith, because they see all the stuff that you post online about men. So they
Yeah.
feel like you don't really like men. You know, you don't really respect men, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm gonna just get what I can get out of this chick and be out. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but when you put that type of energy out there, ladies, that's what you're gonna get back. When you put that type of energy out there, fellas, you're gonna get the gold digger. You know, you're gonna get the chick who, oh, you know, I'm just here for the food. You know, you're gonna get that chick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you're not coming to the table initially in good faith. You
Yeah.
know, Farrakhan often talks about how, you know, you can't, a faucet can't, I'm paraphrasing here, a faucet can't spit pure water and filth at the same time. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? It's just not
yep.
Yeah.
possible. You know what I mean? And I think
Uh-huh.
that this type of logic is speaking directly to that. If you're constantly just bashing with no rhyme or reason, yes, we post certain things that talk about, you know, things in a capacity where, hey, this is a problem. We need to do something about this. Hey, is anybody seeing that this is going on? But you
Yeah.
never hear any one of us, man, fuck these hoes. These they ain't shit. We never say that. We
Yeah.
never say anything close to that. You
At
understand?
all.
So
Period.
yeah, so real talk. Brothers, we gotta be careful when we're out here doing this. Sisters, we gotta be careful when we're out here doing this, because if we really want to have some progressive dialogue where we can move forward and we can heal all the wounds that we have on both sides, because let's face it, we got a lot of hurt people out here in the dating pool, and that's
Yeah.
why you got all this going on. If we
Yeah.
really want to make some progress, we got to kind of put the daggers up. You know what I'm saying? Come
Yeah.
to the table unarmed and just sit down and dialogue and really try to listen to what the other party's saying, instead of just, you know, coming in there shooting the place up.
Yeah.
Nah, we got to listen to each other and receive
Yeah.
what everyone else is saying, so that we can process it and hopefully move forward and make some necessary changes in ourselves to change our environment. That's how I feel.
Definitely. I do want to, because Lowell always pulls my card, so I like to
Mhm.
pull the facts and the receipts that go
Yeah,
along with it, because I don't talk shit to just talk shit out my ass. My circle is a little different than everybody else's circle.
right.
So I have five women right here that I wrote down. Sheikah Bell,
Okay.
the Keita Figgins, Tashara Nisbet, Mona Lisa Andre, and Della Williams. Those are
Okay.
five women off the top of my head that I could tell you that have no children. Sisters are on point.
Yeah.
They really about that life action, and about community building. So I just
Hmm.
gave you five off rip, Lowell.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here. We can we can be as braceful as possible. That's not
Yeah.
going to get us the changes that we want to see. But if you want to
Right.
be real with it, there are women out here that are doing what they're doing.
Yes.
Like Bobby was saying earlier, um, it's not a lot. Yes, we get that. It's going to be slim pickings based on, your qualifications and what you bring to the table. And especially if you are a man of stature, it's going to be a little bit slimmer for you, because you're not out here chasing tail. You have discipline,
True.
and you know what you want out here. So it's going to be a little bit slimmer for you, because
Hmm.
you're looking for quality and not quantity. But I can list way more than the five that I list and tell you,
Yeah.
even though these are five women of quality, and I know them, that doesn't mean they line up with me. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we was pointing out earlier. These are these are dope sisters. That
Right.
doesn't mean that they line up with me. You know what I'm saying? They can line up with me. That doesn't mean they line up with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's 5 sisters out there for 5 dope brothers that's looking for them. So
No
I put
doubt.
their names out there like no hesitation. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is that we have gems out here. And I think a lot of times, a lot of men complain about women, but there are women out there that you could align with. The
True.
problem that I see a lot of times, and we want to be real with the situation, let's have this real dialogue. A lot of times, a lot of the men that's out there don't want to line up with these women because they enjoy the perks of knowing that men have more of a good quality getting than the competition of women getting these men. So if look at it,
True.
right?
True.
So you got me. This talk about Major before he got married, right? So you have
Yeah.
me, Major, Bobby, you know, Lowell, and some other dope brothers. Now, how many women you think that when we step in the room, how many women you think want to holler at us? If there's 20 women in the room, how many women think you, if you're in the room, just say one of us is in the room and there's other brothers in the room and we step in the room and there's 20 women in there, how many of those 20 women you think are going to step to us as brothers or
All
want to
20.
get to know us as brothers?
All 20.
Exactly.
Easy.
So if I got
Easy.
all 20 women coming at me, that
Yeah.
is a perk for me
Yeah.
because now I can filter out who I want to filter out and I can take my time with it. See, there's no rush for me
Let me keep it a buck.
because
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
I'm
coming
saying
after you.
there's no time limit for me. There's no rush for me. And I think a
Right.
lot of times, a lot of men, we get caught up into this this real caveat space where it is very luxurious for us to sit in
Yes.
because
Yes.
we have the options and we don't have no rush for it. The women have a problem because the women have a timeline. They have a
Yeah.
biological clock on them running.
True.
We don't have a
True.
biological clock per se, unless it's coming with your personal perception of a timeline you want to raise your children. Do you want to raise your children while you're young and athletic, or do you want to raise your children while you old and barely bent over? Remember, Robert De Niro just had a child at
Real talk.
79.
Yeah.
He just had a child at 79. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Shooter still
There's no
shoot.
there's no complication. There's no complication when it comes to him and having a
Right.
child. Now, a 79-year-old woman, now you're talking about she might not make it out of surgery,
Yeah.
delivering that child and all type of complications.
I ain't
You
gonna
probably
make
can't get
that.
pregnant. You
Yeah,
probably
so
can't get pregnant.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So
If
you know,
she's
when it comes
legendary
to them,
health, but
the, yeah, the luxuriousness of it is like, let's be honest, a lot of guys are being very patient because they have the luxury of being around a lot of women that that desire them. So they want to make sure, as just like you go to a dealership, you know you
Mhm.
got the money for all the cars on the lot. You just want to make sure you're investing in the right car because
Yeah.
once you get that car, that's your baby. That's something you're going to
That's
look
it.
after. You're going to take it. You're going to wash it down every chance you get. You're going to put a nice system in it. You're going to do some upwork to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with a woman. You're doing the same thing. You're going to do some upwork with her. You know, you're going to put time, invest money into her. Things like
Yeah.
that. You're going to make sure you want to take her out and flaunt her. There's no difference than you comparing a woman to a car. Not saying, you know, that's what you want to do, but if you look
Right.
at it in similarities, it's the same way. So
it
I
is what
do
it
want
is.
to, I
They'll
just
be all
wanted
right.
to point out that thing. So no disrespect to you, Lowell. It's not a battle, trying to battle you or anything. I'm just letting you know that there are women out here. Don't get it twisted. And like I said, I just peeled off 5 rip off my top of my head, and I can peel off some more to it. You know what I mean? So it's all good. It's all good.
It's listen. You hit on something key there, bro. Like, and this what I tell all my little homies. This what I tell all my little homies that I talk to when I mentor, or the homies I used to mentor that I still talk to from time to time. This is what I tell them, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You've been telling me how much you love this girl, you love this girl, you love this girl. Pull the trigger. What you waiting on? You understand what I'm saying? And then you always saying that. Okay, when I ever steered you wrong, bro.
Yeah.
And then I break it down to them about some of the other females they dealt with and the drama and the problems and everything else that came with it. You understand what I'm saying? And they like,
Yeah.
damn, I hate to say it, man, but you right, but let me keep it a buck. Ladies, y'all gotta
Mhm.
understand this. It's another reason why, sisters, y'all gotta be phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are a dude, a male right now, and you out here on the dating scene and you are employed, let alone gainfully employed, just employed, you
Mhm.
can construct a coherent sentence and you ain't moist, you can run the table right now, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's ridiculous out here right now because you got
Yeah.
so few men that are
Yeah.
in, the higher echelon for women to
Yeah.
choose from. You understand? And that's not even counting the moist dudes, the dudes that's in Iraq, the niggas, you know what I'm saying? That's not even counting them. You feel me? I'm talking about
Yeah.
just from, the selection that women have. It's so few of brothers. And like I say, if you just employ,
Yeah.
and you can put a few words together, and you stood up nice and you look decent in a button up. Oh, you
Yeah.
you got a few girlfriends. Easy.
Yeah.
You know
Easy.
what I'm saying? But I want to challenge my brothers though, because
Yeah.
I know that it might be fun, to have all these females around or whatever, but where is that really going for you? You understand
Correct.
what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
is that taking you? What is your legacy going to be if that's what you keep doing?
Correct.
And you continue to put so much value in that. You continue to put so much weight on that. I want to challenge some of my brothers to find your queen, break off with her, get into a serious monogamous relationship with her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Propose to her, marry her. I want to challenge more brothers to do that because hell, within the last few years, everybody that I challenged to do that has done it. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And they're happy and they're married now. You
Yeah.
understand? So it's not that it can't be done. It's not that, oh, I hear a lot of this bullshit. Black men can't just be with one woman. What you talking about? What, seriously? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, if you don't want to just be with one woman, say that. But don't put that on black men. That is not
Yeah.
possible for us to be disciplined enough to
Please,
be with one woman. That's
Yeah.
please.
nonsense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, tighten up, because that's bullshit. Yes, black men can be with only one woman, and they can be perfectly happy that way. You
Yeah.
understand? And I want to see more brothers step up when you find your queen, the one that you love, and everything makes sense. You've told me this. You've
Mhm.
told your brother this. You told your father this. You told your mother this. But you
Yeah.
still ain't make no move.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger, bro. That's what
Exactly.
I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Th-
see more of that. So yeah.
Definitely.
There's
So
there's
Lowell,
another side.
yeah, no, I just wanted to tell Lowell, I sent you the link. You can join in with us because I want you to go ahead and articulate yourself because I know talking through text back and forth can get lost in transition. So I
There
don't
you
want you
go.
to think anything about that beef, my brother. It's all love. So you can join in, jump on. You can
Yeah,
go to the link, click in, and
that
jump
is.
online with us. But yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
There's another element to that too that I think is very important. And it's the ability to think just outside of yourself and not to be unintentionally self-absorbed. And I say that
Mhm.
because you have people who move that way on purpose because they just don't care, and that's who they are. So
Mm,
there's no admonishment that you can give that's going to make a difference with them. They know what they're doing. It's not ignorance. They're moving that way. But for the decent, honorable, and solid brothers who aren't mindful in that manner because they're not women, they wouldn't necessarily expect them to understand, or at least to not really understand the gravity of it. But
yeah.
because we have that biological difference, um, we may, for the most part, have all the time in the world, and that's a very That's a very tongue-in-cheek thing to say because the reality is,
None
tomorrow
of us
could be the
do.
last day for any of us.
Right.
But assuming that we get to have a long average life, kick it till you hit about 80, mid 80s, maybe 90, what have you. Um, that's not the case for these sisters in terms of being able to have healthy children, start a family, and to really be able to grow in that fashion.
Yeah.
Um, Now, if a brother is looking to maybe wait till he's in his late 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s before he decides to settle down, and then he wants to have children and he wants to go ahead and get with a sister young enough to do that, that's your choice. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I know some women are going to be salty about that. That's their business. You have the right to conduct your way of living the way you see fit, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're not living for those women. You're living for yourself.
Yeah.
And those same women, I'm pretty sure, would appreciate the same courtesy being extended to them.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, if you are entertaining a sister, please be mindful that because they're on the clock, maybe you have the time to waste. They don't have the time to waste,
Real talk.
and it really is a tragedy, and it's really foul to have a woman who is there. She's doing her part, her due diligence.
Right.
She's committed. She loves you. She cares about you. She's essentially cast her lots in with you. She's made the investment in with you, and she's got some good years. She's got 2, 3, 4, 5, in some cases, years in there with you. But there's nothing substantial to show for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Only now she's hit 30, she's 32, 34, 36. Now
Yeah.
she's at this phase where
Oh.
the high risk pregnancy starts coming in, where now it's going to start getting a little hairy having children. The
Right.
risk of complications increases. The risk of having an unhealthy baby comes to fruition. Miscarriages are going to be higher. The odds of her having difficulty in labor is possible. She might even die giving birth, what have you. These
True.
things now are popping up, or even just her ability to have children is waning. I have a friend who, in her family, the women in her families, they lose the ability to have children early.
Yeah.
So she's had some aunts, some cousins, what have you. As soon as they touched 30, they were basically already in high risk pregnancy mode, and one of them actually lost the ability to have children once she
Wow.
was 34. Went to go see the doctor. She was with her husband and found out that, well, you already have 2 children. You're not going to be able to have any more because um, taking the risk now is going to put your life in jeopardy. So these are cases that some sisters have. If
Yeah.
you have a sister that you're seriously considering, and be honest, if you can't figure out whether or not she's the person or what have you within a set amount of time, within a few years,
Mm-hmm.
seriously consider being an honorable dude and saying, you know what, I can't come to a valid decision, but I'm not willing to take the risk. So we're gonna have to go our separate ways. So she has a chance to go ahead and build that with some other dude. Do the right thing in that regard.
Right. Right. You said a
And
mouthful there.
also,
Mm-hmm.
what also goes into part of that, because the same way how you're talking about this, you got younger brothers talking to you about, oh, she's a good woman, and I like her. He's telling everyone about her, but the question is, why haven't you pulled the trigger? Two quick things with that. First and foremost, men need to learn, and if you didn't learn it from your father or your uncle, you need to find a solid role model for you to really talk to and kick and really game you up on that. You need to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to vet women. Now, I'm not saying the process should take 3 months or 6 months or what have you. Not saying that. But if you don't know what the hell you doing, if you don't know how to properly vet a woman for marriage, for serious commitment,
Mhm.
then you can be with her 20, 30 years and you'll be no closer to finding out than you were when y'all first met.
Real talk.
But when you
Correct.
know how to vet, when you know what to look for, when you know what the red flags are, what the green flags are, if you once you know what you actually want, when
Mm-hmm.
you have a vision, that's another thing right there. Once you have a vision and a goal, you know what your objective, what your purpose is, and you're only accepting a woman who fits into that plan. Now you can put her on the fast track. When you get to that point, then it could take you 3 months, 6 months, a year, what have you, to realize, okay, I know what I need to see. I've seen this in her. I know how to ask the right questions. I've known what to keep my eyes open for, what have you. I know what quality things to look for. We can go ahead and make this thing pop off. So if you don't know, if you don't understand, it's cool. But make it your business to understand. Ignorance is no excuse.
Real
Because
Correct.
talk.
you have opportunities to get her right multiple times. She
Correct.
might not. So
Mm-hmm.
do the honorable thing. So if she doesn't fit into your program, she can go ahead and get with another brother's program and do your thing. So be mindful of that. To know to do right, to know what the right thing is, and to not do it, that's evil right there.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Real
Yeah.
know
talk.
better, but you ain't doing better.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sin right there. You
Yeah.
foul.
Exactly.
You flaw now. So at that point, you're
Exactly.
accountable and you're responsible. So you can't come talk about, well, I ain't telling she had to. Yeah, you didn't have to, but she cares about you, and you played on that.
You
Yeah.
notice.
What
You
part of the game
notice.
is that? You know, I'm not going to advocate for dudes that's out here moving trife, that's being foul and disrespectful. Fuck them. The hell with
Oh,
them.
there you
Real
go.
talk.
But for the dudes
Oh,
that want to do the right thing, they got good intentions, they noble and honorable. You owe it to them. You owe it to yourself to get on the right track.
Yeah.
What's good, brother Lowell?
what's up,
Lowell, what
Lowell?
up?
All right.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
our
yeah.
brother Lowell here.
Can you hear me? The whole system. Okay. My mic is.
What's going on,
What's
brother?
up, man? Yo, peace, God. I tell you,
Peace.
can you
What's
hear me?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we
we
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
God. What up?
What's good? What's good? So I have one slight issue with brother Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yo, Malcolm, I ain't gonna hold you. This might be the only beef we would ever have in this whole universe, son.
Yeah.
So you know, I look and I do research on what's going on in the dating world and dating game. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was watching Colonel Sanders a lot, he would provide all this data um, on what's going on in the world. Now, I have an auto repair center, and I also teach a women's car care clinic class. When I teach the class, I talk about how a dealership, 75% of the revenue a dealership generates comes from the service department.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that service department, of that 75%, 90% of the customers are female.
Mm-hmm.
When these customers come in, son, and I talk to these women, they almost all of them tell me the same thing routinely. Um, one girl, she was 26, worked for CNN. Only thing she's trying to do is get a house. All these women trying to get their house. Now, when I have my male customers who are married, for some strange reason, I never meet their wives. The only person I meet is the husband. Never meet the wife.
Mm.
But all the female customers, single, I don't need a man, this and that. This is a disease that's going on that's making women feel like they really don't need men. I had one woman that came to my shop who was in her mid 20s, being very disrespectful. Every time I was talking, she would just cut me off, and I had to physically threaten her in order to gain her respect. So I had to say to her, "What world do you live in which you think you could talk to someone who's nearly twice your age? And I gotta put my hand on your fucking neck in order for you to gain respect." This is the world that we live in. So when you have 70% of children that's being raised by women, and half of those children, half of that 70% is men, women can't raise men. When Mila mentioned that she knows one girl who's a virgin. Is she under 30? Malcolm, all the sisters you mentioned, I know Mona Lisa. When I first met Mona Lisa, I stepped to her day one.
That's
And
not the
because
Mona Lisa you're
when
talking
I met
about.
her, she was like, "Yo, I heard you've been working
That's
with
not.
children. I heard you
That's
mentor
not the
children."
Mona. That's not the Mona Lisa you're talking about. We're not talking.
I'm sorry, say that again.
That's not the Mona Lisa we know. It's another Mona Lisa.
I'm not talking about Mona Lisa Weber.
No, I didn't say Weber. I said
Okay, my
Mona
bad, my
Lisa
bad.
Andre. I said Mona Lisa Andre.
Is she a virgin?
Is she a virgin? Oh, I don't know. You said don't have no children. You didn't. I didn't see no virgin. I named.
Is
I
she is
named women. I
because
named
I'm being
women 30,
realistic. Men
30,
men
30
don't
plus
want
with
no
no
woman.
children.
I will.
Good.
No, I named five. He said 5 women. Name 5 women that are childless. The virgin question must have been another question because I don't know these women enough to know if they virgins or not. I know some of them not virgins, but I didn't know you wanted me to list virgins. That's just filtering even smaller. Virgins in this day and age, I think that's a bit far-fetched because our community, let's be real with it, our community is full of perverted men and women. A lot of our children aren't even becoming virgins past the age of 18 because they're getting fondled by women and men. Remember, R. Kelly got fondled by a woman. A lot of these predators got fondled by women. They got their virginity stolen by women.
Michael, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a delay, so I apologize if I'm coming off kind of late.
Yeah, I got you.
Geriatric pregnancy starts at what age?
Say that again.
Geriatric pregnancy starts at what age?
Geriatric.
I want to say what?
I know once you cross 35 is like high risk. I don't know if high risk and geriatric are the same thing, but I know like once you hit 35, that 35 to 38 window, I know is the high risk pregnancy on average, typically.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's the same as a geriatric pregnancy or not, but I know high risk at least is in that range.
Geriatric is another level.
I thought you were saying something else. Okay, gotcha. I didn't hear you.
Geriatric pregnancy is between the ages of 27 and 35. When a woman hits the age of 30, she loses about 90% of her eggs. By the time she hits 35, she loses 95% of her eggs. So if a brother is looking for a woman, most men want legacy. Most men want family. So if a man is trying to be involved, he wants a woman that can bear him children. The majority of these women that you're mentioning, I guarantee you, they're past 30. I guarantee you they have children. I guarantee you they have some kind of drama or they got like 10, 15 to 20 different bodies. A man doesn't want to be with a hoe. We don't have to go around faking the front acting like there's a mad selection of women out there to choose from. There's a poor selection of women to choose from. I mean, I see them come every day in my shop and they're like, listen, I don't need no man. I'm taking care of everything on my own. So now a man is acting to a paycheck. And this is not the world that we live in. You take a brother like Mungai, he is rare. He probably chose a woman who's also rare, who's probably conscious. But this is extremely, extremely rare. You can't find most brothers like Mungai, yourself, Bobby, or myself, a Muslim brother like you. You can't find most sisters like Myla. Sister Myla is extremely rare. But sisters like her don't come around, just like brothers like us don't come around. So the point you made earlier when you said that we walk into a spot, more sisters will be more prone to hear what we're saying and to maybe interested in us. However, the likelihood of a woman stepping to us is rare. They may give us a signal to try to step to us, but some of these sisters are overweight. Most of them have been raised by only a woman, so they don't have no reverence or if they don't have a foundation upon which to measure men because they were raised by a father. So the yardstick by which they measure fatherhood, there is no yardstick. The yardstick is their mother. And their mother, for the most part, has raised and trained them to not be women, to not be wives, to be independent, to be all these things that men don't want. This is the majority of people. So you cannot say that the pickings aren't that bad. It's terrible. It is terrible. I mean, when I talk to married people, they're like, they don't even know what's going on in the world. When I talk to single people, they're suffering. They're miserable. It's because the dating pool is terrible, and we can't front like it's not terrible. Even one guy knows it's terrible, and he's married.
Listen, this is why I have.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong, son? Am I wrong?
No, listen,
am I wrong?
No, I didn't say it was wrong. No. What this is why I had an issue when he made the post, and my issue was not with him saying you can't find the perfect person. You can find your perfect person. My issue was with him saying there's nothing wrong with the dating pool. That's not true. There's a lot wrong with the dating pool. This show and the fact that we have to have it every week is proof that there's stuff wrong with the dating pool. You know, that was my thing.
Yeah, that's fair. On that angle, yes, that's fair. But like I said, I was telling you about these women that they don't have children. All 5 of these women don't have children. They're 30 plus. Virgin, I don't know. When you say virgin or low miles, what is your definition of a good woman? Low miles wise, from virgin to low miles. What's your definition of a good woman.
All right. So when I cop, I'm gonna use because I do automotive. I'm gonna use an automotive example. So I drive a 2000 BMW, right? 740 IL. It takes thousands of dollars for me to restore that. The amount of time and energy I have to put in to restore that vehicle, equivalent to an older woman. And so I ever date a
Yeah.
woman who's 40, 45, 50. The amount of time and energy I have to instill into that woman to deal with all the trauma, all that crap. If I want to restore that woman, there's a lot of stuff I have to do. But if I get a brand new whip, and I pay full price for a brand new whip, no miles, maybe 4 or 5 miles on it, which is still not equivalent to a body count, then I know I'm dealing with everything new. There's not drama I have to deal with. I have extended warranty on it. There's not things I got to worry about, and I can have a fresh new relationship with the whip or a fresh new relationship with a brand new woman. This is what every man wants. We can't front and act like this is not what men want. This is what we want. This is what we desire. Because when a man has been with a woman that's been around, like I've seen relationships crash on Facebook for the simple fact that a woman gets married and dudes is on there smiling like, "Yo, man, I done twisted that up in mad kind of ways." And then when the husband gets light of that, he gets vexed and then he divorces the woman right on the spot. Like he's like, "This relationship is over," because she was a hoe in the past, and we can't act like that's not a reality. There's more hoes on the market than there is regular women. That's a fact.
I
Yeah,
think
It's
we also
unfortunate.
have to be honest.
No, I was gonna ask you real quick.
I gotta walk up in the spot real quick. I'm gonna be right back.
Bet.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me just say something to what he's saying, because he's not wrong. There's a lot of realness to what he's saying, but there's
Yeah.
also some context that has to go into that. I would say for the most part he's about a strong. I don't want to touch the 70s, but I'd say probably like about 83% accurate. But some of what he's saying is also nuanced, because while I have heard some brothers talk about, oh, they don't want a woman who's been with anybody else, I've heard a lot more dudes say that they don't want a woman who's a virgin because they want a woman who does have some experience. They don't.
I'm that
They,
guy. I'm that guy. No, I was gonna get to that point. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna drive home that
Yeah.
point. That's why I set him up to say
Right.
what he said. Because let me tell you something. And I'll be
I heard
real
some
with
dudes
you.
that say they don't. I've heard some guys say that they want a woman who they don't mind having to teach her to how to please and how he likes. Some dudes saying, I don't want to have to be a teacher. I want her to come equipped. I want her to know what she's doing. I want her to be talented and all that stuff. So that depends. And then the idea of a woman being a hoe because she's not a virgin, again, that's subject to interpretation, because I know for
Yeah.
some dudes, and that's also another thing, because I've heard some of these dudes, and usually they're incels, but I've heard some dudes who throw out the number, and I'm sure because Lowell is a thoughtful brother, whether you like what he's saying or not, whether you agree with him or disagree. One thing I can say about Lowell is a brother that does give thought to things. I'm sure he has
Yeah.
his line of
Yeah.
Sam, but
I
most
respect
brothers,
his
when you
I
say,
respect his
okay, so she's she's a hoe, how many bodies defines a hoe? A lot of them dudes kind of stop. They gotta try and think about it. They try to carry the two, whatever, because they don't know. They just say she's a hoe.
Yeah.
All right, well, how many makes her a hoe? If she has 100 bodies, is she a hoe? Yeah, she a hoe. Okay, 50 bodies. Yeah, she's a hoe. 20 bodies, definitely a hoe. What if she has 8 bodies?
Yeah.
Kinda. What if she has 5 bodies?
Yeah.
And then there's a
Nobody wants.
confine.
Okay.
So if
That's
it's
true.
if
Hang on a second.
she's been with 10 dudes in the span of a week,
Yeah.
that's all. She's only been with 10 dudes, but she's been with 10 dudes all in 1 week. Does that make her a hoe?
Yeah.
If she's been with 5 guys, but they've all been in long-term relationships, nobody less than 2 years, and it's only been that person that she's been with during that time span, does that make her? So there's nuance and there's context here. So again, I'm sure Lowell probably has his numbers in check, but a lot
Yeah.
of us can't quantify those kind of things, and it varies from man to man, especially if you don't want someone that has zero experience whatsoever. Go ahead,
Okay.
Ant.
Yeah.
Hold up.
I'm not.
Or
Real quick,
I'm
and
not. Yeah.
hold up, real quick. That's kind of another show. So we still want to stay
yeah,
on the topic of gender wars. We don't want to get into bodies and body count.
Yeah.
That's another
for
show.
another
But
for
go
another
ahead.
I
day.
get that. No, the only reason I brought that up is because I like to respect people's opinions And anything that's thrown at us, I want to make
Yeah.
sure we get clarification before we move on. Because, like I said, I was answering the brother's questions in the comment section, and he kept saying I was avoiding it. That's why I told him to jump on stage
Yeah.
so we
Right.
can go ahead and get this dialogue out. My
Mhm.
thing is, I don't want no experienced woman that has been through the block and nothing like that.
Mhm.
I don't want no virgin. That's the most difficult and complicated shit. I don't know if you guys ever had sex with a virgin. That
Yeah,
shit is
yeah.
frustrating, right?
It is.
I
Yeah.
don't want a virgin.
It
Hey,
can
she
be.
got 3 to 5 bodies, that's fine. But I don't want no
Yeah.
virgin. That's my personal preference.
That's
I
a
don't
good
have
clean
time
number.
to sit here. Huh?
Those are good clean numbers. 3 to 5 bodies.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's all right.
that's what I'm saying. So
That
I
that
don't
passes the
want no
Carfax.
experienced woman, and I don't want no damn virgin. I dealt with virgins, and I had a woman that came up to me before that was a virgin, and I told her, man, go do your thing and come back to me some later on down the road or something like that. I don't want to break into. That's another, like you said, that's another topic. Because once you break in a virgin, now you got a whole just a whole demon that come out of that. I've experienced that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole ass show.
That's the
You
whole
dig?
show, bro. Because
Bruh,
if
we get off
she's
the
one
weed on
way
that.
before that virginity is broken, and if you put that shit on good and she likes you, bruh, that is another family member for the rest of your life, bro. Like, I'm gonna get off that. I'm gonna get off that subject.
Yeah,
But
we go to the next
Turn-
topic.
Yes,
Turn the car around. Turn the car
like I
around.
said, I give shouts out to my brother Lowell. Very good brother. Like I say, I respect him enough to always have great conversations. So that
No doubt.
is never an issue.
Yeah.
So I
Keeps it
definitely want to.
interesting.
So since we're talking about he talks about the whole from his time of growing up. So I do want to go into this video real quick that kind of explains the mindset of what Lowell was talking about. All right.
I see it among my own friends, and I also see it in my home. But the most revealing and the most vocal statements about what the new black man expects from the new black woman came when I met with a group of young unmarried friends one Saturday afternoon.
I think that what's happening in America as far as black men, black women is concerned, is that there's a revolution within a revolution. We are fighting our own woman. Our woman will not allow us to emerge as black men. No. But our black women, who has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male, has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Are you blaming us? Are you saying that it's our fault that this happened?
No, I'm not blaming black America women. I just said that I'm blaming the system. They are victims of the system like the black male.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay. Well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat.
That's what you
We're
said.
saying that you have got to be astute enough and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. My old man tolerated it because his old man tolerated it. It came up for years and years and years. But today, the young black man is not going to take it. He's going to be out there as a leader. White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding him by saying, well, we are qualified, we want to work, we can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we're gonna get, and it's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you in love. me on the basis of that, you want to always be aspiring to have all those things that's a part of the great middle class white American society, and because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired.
All right. So
Mm.
how you guys feel about that?
Oi!
The fact that she said what she said and didn't realize she was the problem.
Whoa! Whoa! You dig?
That
That was it for
that
me.
was
That was
that was
it.
a whole entire. I'm gonna tell you right now, just based off that alone. But if you want, if anybody was in denial about what he said, that right there single-handedly proved the point.
Sure did. Sure did.
You just let it be known that basically, and now if a brother were to say women just will run over men, they just have no respect, yada yada yada, they're disrespectful creatures, they're abusive, they do everything. When he said it's a problem, when she opened her mouth and said it, you just cut your own
Yeah.
Achilles tendon right off.
And did you keep the volume increased and the attitude like downshift a little bit? Like she still didn't jump out the window like a
That machismo
2023
coming out of
woman.
her.
But she started coming aggressive. I mean, like she was not
Yep.
being feminine at all. She was very aggressive.
But she was
When-
also requesting, and she said, "Why doesn't he make us? Why doesn't he force us to not go ahead and
That's
take
what
him?"
I'm saying. But when we point this out, we crazy.
Why does that need to happen?
Right.
Why do I need it? It goes back to it, but this also shows how pervasive this is. So these conversations we're having today, they're not new by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
This goes
No.
back to that thing where women talking about, oh, I want a man that can handle me, that can put me in my place. Again, you're requesting the services of animal control.
Real talk.
And if
Real
that's the
talk.
case, I got a nice shock collar over here I can put on you. We can go ahead and make that thing pop off. We can do that. Every time you get out of pocket, we can do that.
I
But
mean, bro,
we're trying to
that was
have a relationship
disturbing.
with a woman, not a domestic animal.
Real talk.
Not Mittens, the calico cat. No,
That was
that's not a good
disturbing.
look.
That shit was
That is
disturbing,
not a
bro.
good look.
What?
And it speaks to that role. And one of the classic issues that you have is the whole I don't want to call it a beef, but it's the gross disconnect between the professional woman and the blue collar man. And we were kind of talking about this the other day with the whole Ebony K. Williams thing and everything. The issue when you have a lot of women talking about, oh, men are intimidated. This concept of men are intimidated by strong women, by high earning women, by women with big titles and accolades and higher education, whatever. And again,
it's a farce.
It's now I'm not going to say that it is not true. I'm sure you do have some brothers out there who are indeed intimidated by that. Absolutely, that's where we live, and there's almost never an absolute of anything. So there's a small little contingent, but the emphasis is on small. There's a difference between fear and aversion and avoidance. The reason a lot of men tend to avoid and overlook those women that have those big titles, that have those accolades, the higher education, the degrees, and everything, is because of the way that woman was talking right there. Now, I don't know what we don't know what her background is. We don't know how accomplished she has. We don't know if she's a PhD candidate or if she barely has a high school education. We don't know if she's a CEO at some Fortune 1000 company or if she flips burgers over at McDonald's. We don't know.
We don't know, right?
But it is not uncommon for women who are in those higher positions or what have you, not necessarily because they're bad people, but as a consequence of what they do, the competitive environment that it puts them in, where they're in a place where they are in their masculine energy and they're challenging men. You can't honestly expect that a man who is not effeminized, who is masculine, who has at least a basic level of desire to protect and provide and to be a leader, to sit there and deal with a woman who thinks and operates and carries herself in that manner. That's not attractive.
Real talk.
You're basically asking a man to get into a pseudo homosexual relation. That's like a prison relationship. There's two dudes in the picture.
And that was a 2-minute soundbite, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what she's like outside of that.
Yeah.
That's on
Not,
TV.
not just that, and I like to stress these kind of things. That's what she did. That this was not a hidden camera thing. She knew that
Mhm.
this was an interview. She knew this was a dialogue and a conversation that was being held in front of strangers, and also that other people would see, possibly for years and years to come. That was her on her best behavior, on her
Can you
P's and
imagine?
Q's, dotting
Yes.
her I's and crossing her T's. Can you imagine behind
Woo!
closed doors
No.
how she gets
No.
that? But again, men are supposed to be cooperative and be able to deal with that and cope with that.
Yeah. Ain't that something?
She wasn't even feminine in her response of what she needed from a man. The way she demands, she was like, I need him to be there for me. And just the attitude of that alone was
The neck
very
waving.
problematic. But you could tell
Crazy.
she was probably one of those women that had an ideal of the type of man, but wasn't getting the man she really wanted.
Probably.
And she probably wonders why. There's an old anecdote that I heard a long time ago, and it's been so long that I know I probably maybe chopped it up and
Mhm.
misquoted for the most part. But the story goes that there's this Spanish country. I think it might have been Central American. I don't know if if it's based on true story or not, but it's some Spanish nation somewhere in Latin America where this country had elected its first female president, whatever. It was a big deal.
Mhm.
Obviously, she's the first. And so, at some point in time during the presidency, a reporter came and was interviewing her and her husband, and was talking.
Mhm.
And so, he interviewed the husband, and of course, in most Latin American countries, there is that element of machismo, what have you, where it's that masculine presence that permeates all society. And
Mhm.
so, as he was talking to the husband, she basically got to the subject of, well, you're you're doing a great job as a first husband. We really appreciate you and your perspective. And then he pivoted to the wife and said, given our society, how is it that you're able to maintain a healthy, functional relationship with your man, given that, you're the president and he's not in this similar title as you? And
Mhm.
she responded classically and plainly. She said, simple. When I go beyond the threshold of this door, I'm the president of the country. When I come back through the threshold of this door, he's the president of this household.
Mhm.
Heavy. Heavy.
Mhm.
The idea of being able to be in that dual mindset where when you're outside here performing in excellence, doing the damn thing, holding it down, you're in
Mhm.
that mindset where you're the leader, you're in charge, you're making things happen, you're calling the shots. But being able to turn that off when you're with him is the issue. And it's not because that's normal.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Human beings on the average human being is not good at compartmentalization. We're not good at being able to divide and chop ourselves up into different sectors. People who are able to do that usually have a mental issue of some sort. Usually it's a case of like schizophrenia, what have you, or
Mm.
you're a sociopath where you're able to manage these different things where you can be this and be that. Most people can't do that. It's too demanding. Like they say, it's hard to keep up a lie because you have to tell one lie to keep up the other lie, and so it falls apart. We're not
Mhm.
good at doing all this segmenting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they say if you watch someone, if you observe someone long enough, eventually the real them is going to come out because you can't be one way and another way all the time. At some point, you're going to slip.
Right.
Yeah.
So it will take something supernatural, or it's going to take a whole process, if possible, to go ahead and make that change. I had a professor who told us a long time ago, in the criminal justice class I had, how she had a husband who's a correctional officer. And because the nature of his job, he had to be a hard ass where he was working because that's a security issue. It's for your own safety, but also for the facility. You have to be able to be that hard nosed, roughneck type of dude that's ready to bust some heads open.
Yeah.
He had a whole routine already. When he would come home from work, he would open the door quietly. The family would be doing homework or watching TV or cooking, whatever. He wouldn't say anything to anybody. Everyone knew, don't say anything to daddy. He would go ahead straight into the bathroom. He would leave his boots, his clothes, whatever, right there outside the door. Once he locked the door, she would go take his things, put in the hamper, take his boots, put them outside, whatever. And he would take about a good 20 to 30 minute hot ass shower in there,
Mhm.
just decompressing. Literally, she described it as him washing the day off of him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She would do that, and once he got in a place where he was clean, once he got his mind right, he came out. and it was daddy, daddy, hi honey, how is he? He was this
No
loving
doubt.
husband, this doting father. He was this guy because that's who he was. But he was
Yeah.
not able to make that transition straight from. He had to do a process, a ritual to get his mind in the state it needed to be in both places. Otherwise, he couldn't function. He had to keep the two
So,
separate. So if women were to learn how to be able to manage their personalities in that fashion, that wouldn't be an issue.
yeah.
And the women who are typically in that state of mind, they have success in relationships. But the
Mm.
women who can't make that adjustment and are with men who are not beta types or the you go ahead and take the lead types, it's always going to be a conflict. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, most of those women want that kind of man.
Mm.
Go figure.
So
Yeah.
you have to learn your own. So you have to understand. You have to be honest and understand. It's not that you're a bad person. You're not a bad woman. You just need to understand how to adapt to your situation, what your position, what your accolades, what have you. You have to be mindful of the state that these things put you in, and understand
Hmm.
that this is your professional self. This should not have any
Yeah.
bearing on your personal self. And
Real
if you
talk.
can't manage the two personas, you need to put in that work. You know what I'm saying?
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm absolutely in agreement and alignment with what Bob is saying. Look,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that clip was so informative because it tells us that it feels new to us because we're here, right?
Mhm.
But this is not new by any measure.
At
That
all.
brother had a fro from like 72. You understand what I'm saying? So you did. This is not new by any measure, and it's been going
Yeah.
on since then, and it's just been magnified as it's been progressing and so forth. But he says some very key things in there that I really want sisters to understand. And I'm not beating up on the sisters, but I'm just pointing this out that the system does use black women
Mm.
to facilitate white supremacy. This
Yes. I
is
got it.
not even something I will debate with anyone.
Oh
This is
yes.
clear. There are countless cases that I can come up with where I can show you where this has happened. You want to talk
Yes.
about Renee Hall. You want about talk about Judge Tammy the Mammy Kemp. You understand what I'm saying? You want to talk about Kamala Harris for
Kamala
crying out
Harris.
loud.
Yeah.
And that is something that we really need to acknowledge, and we need to make it so that we're not falling for the same trick bag again and
Yeah.
again.
I'm
Because
writing a book on that.
yeah, and I'm sure it's
Yeah.
going to be a great one. But
Yeah.
you
Banger.
know, these sisters go out here, and it's usually the liberals. They go and dangle a carrot in front. Look, we got a black woman. We got a black woman, and no one does their homework on this
Mm.
black person. It's a black person, but usually it's a woman. We got a black woman. And no one does their homework.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris set records in California locking black people up, kept people in jail beyond their sentence so that they could go fight fires. Who does
Mhm.
that?
Hmm.
Covered up for these racist white supremacist cops. Oh, this is the black person we're giving you. And the black woman, oh, the black girl magic. Oh, she black, y'all. First of all, she wasn't even black until she started running for vice president. If we're gonna keep it a buck.
Hmm.
I study these
Yep.
things. I followed Kamala Harris from when they first trotted her ass out there. You understand what I'm saying? I followed her from then. She used to always go out of her way to acknowledge her Asian heritage. First
Yeah.
Asian American in the Senate. Oh, this, that, and the third. It's Asian this, Asian that. But when you running for vice president and you need the black vote, all of a sudden here come all this fake sister girl shit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
And,
as part
and,
of the gender wars and disarming some of the the heavy artillery that's out there, black men and women alike, when we hear, oh, first black this, first black that, if you vote for them, then it's going to be this. We need to do our vetting. We need to
yeah.
properly vet these people so that, because it's happened with black men also, by the way.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
usually they get a black woman. You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? And they'll go ahead and use that black woman as a weapon against black society. They'll hand pick a coon that they know ain't gonna do nothing for black society.
And
You know,
let me add on
yeah,
to that real quick.
go.
They do that because black women, they use black women as a shield. So think about war, right? When you look at the
I know.
Roman wars and they had the shield, they're
Yes.
using the black woman as a shield.
Mhm.
And what happens is that when black men see that, or other black women see that, now if you go and say something about it, you're attacking a black woman.
Exactly.
That's why they put the narrative out there that black women's voices aren't as powerful, when that's far from the reality of it. Black women
Correct.
do have a powerful voice.
Mhm.
And they're using it, you know what I'm saying, because black women got shit done. If black women's voice wasn't powerful like that, then a lot of stuff that got done wouldn't have got done had it
True.
not been for the black woman.
True.
So there's a lot of illusion that goes on with that. And remember another thing, and I'm gonna give it back to you, that I wanted to add on to what you were saying about Kamala Harris. And I pointed this out a long time ago. Chucks and pearls is another way of saying handcuffs and police shoes, and Chucks is prison shoes.
Prison shoes, yeah.
So it's
Real talk.
handcuffs and prison shoes.
Mhm.
That's what y'all was running around chanting. Subliminally, that's what y'all was running around chanting. When
Real
they was
talk.
on here with the narrative, Chucks and pearls, they were saying handcuffs and prison shoes.
Right.
Y'all go look it up, man. I'm not saying
Real
shit.
talk.
This is say shit. I'm telling you real shit. How they
Real talk.
camouflage shit right in front of our eyes and have you co-signing some
Mhm.
things that really isn't for you guys and definitely is against y'all. But I'll hand it back to you. I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
No. Real talk. That was actually great information. I was about to say that same thing about how they use the black women intentionally so that you cannot attack them, because then it's going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you hate women, or it's going to be
Yeah.
like, oh, you hate black people. So they know exactly what they're doing. You know, I was actually going to say that next, but I'm glad you added it. But the point of the matter that I'm trying to get across is for our sisters to understand, you know, anytime you have any black person that they bring to you and they giving them all these accolades, and you know, they're like the greatest person in the world, and this comes from the dominant society in a political sense, it's usually a goddamn Trojan horse. It's usually some bullshit. And we have to be responsible and do our duty, our civic duty as citizens, to go and research these people that they just put up in front of us one day and say, okay, this is your leader. They don't get to choose our leaders, you know, and I really want black people as a whole, but particularly black women, to be very careful, you know, in observing these type of characters when they bring them around.
Exactly.
You know, because that type of thing is also a part of the gender war. When I criticized Kamala Harris, everybody came for me. Oh, you hate women, this, that, and the third. What's wrong with her? And of course, it's just an emotional response. You haven't done any research on Kamala Harris. I know her record. And I didn't say anything about Kamala Harris on a personal level. I criticized her policies and the horrible things that she's done to black society.
Correct.
But nobody was looking at that because they're emotional. Huh?
The record has to speak for itself.
The record has to speak for itself. We got to get out of this thing where we fall for personalities. I think Anthony has a shirt he made, politics over personalities. Policies over personalities. We got to be smarter than that. We got to be more politically savvy, because this also contributes to the gender wars conversation. Go ahead.
And I'm glad you said that, because that leads into this next thing that is disguised that we don't even realize is gender war. So these white men pretty much did the okie dokie on some women. So you guys co-sign a lot of these things and not realize that you're actually co-signing a secret gender war. So the University of Wyoming sorority sisters slammed school's decision to let trans women move back into their house, claimed that they live in constant fear because she peeps at while visibly aroused. So basically, you have the dude in the back. You see the guy all the way on the back on the right hand side.
Yeah.
He is calling himself a trans woman, and now he's able to live in a room full of women and able to basically live amongst them and has the rights to live amongst them, and they feel fearful because this man is waking up making breakfast and his Johnson is on hard, and they're like, yo, this isn't comfortable setting because I don't know what he or she might do in that setting. You feel me?
Real talk.
So we can sit back and laugh at this and sweep it under the rug, but this is a Pandora's box that women have co-signed and opened it, and now you're seeing the dangerous effects of it. And not only this, we know Bobby is also into UFC fighting, and they also had a transgender UFC fighter who cracked the jaws of a real woman.
Yeah,
not you. It wasn't UFC. It was another promotion, but that was the thing where that did happen. And the first thing they went to was, well, you have someone who has the biological physical structure of a male. It's a male frame they got versus a woman who has a female frame. All things being equal, you get an average woman going toe to toe with an average dude who's been trained. I mean, it's not gonna look good. But they keep trying to say that science doesn't matter. That don't trust your lying eyes, don't believe your lying ears. It's not what you think it is.
Correct.
Ridiculous.
And that's dangerous. Here it is. A natural woman got her jaw cracked in two different places by this man who feels like he's not good enough to perform with other men. So if I can't win amongst the strong, I might as well join the women's side and come out with a trophy because I want to be a winner too. And even if it means damaging, even if it means damaging a natural born woman in the process, so be it. And that is very dangerous because one day it might be your daughter, that ends up in that ring with the boy and that ends up beating her severely like that. This woman was lucky that she was able to even come out of the ring. Could have been another blood sport incident where, would have had to get carted off into the burial grounds, This is something that's very serious, and we can't sit back around and just co-sign everything just to co-sign. This is one of the reasons why we tell people to push back on certain things, because we understand the long-term effects is going to be very dangerous, especially for the next generation. We have to be the protectors for the next generation. We have to do the pushback because the generation before us did a lot of pushback for us to live the way we're living now. So we have to make sure that we're doing enough efforts for the next generation to at least have some breathing and comfortable room to maneuver and try to get this stuff, to find the solutions to get it to where we need to get it to. So if we're not doing our job, it's going to be harder for the next generation to do their job. And all we're doing is co-signing and setting them up for failure and even putting them in a bad situation. That's something we don't need to do.
Agreed. Listen, definitely. You said it all.
So definitely, we want to get into our weekly topic, right? Trendy weekly topics for this week. And it's very interesting because I know you guys are going to have a field day with this one. All right, so the trendy topic of the week is Raphael Union feels 50-50 with Dwayne Wade, feels pressured to work to support all of her family.
What?
I saw a lot. When we talk about gender wars, I saw a lot of gender warring over this post right here, and people were going in, different viewpoints on both sides. So I definitely wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this and what you brothers feel about that.
You sure you want my thoughts on this? Listen, I'm gonna try to keep this as polite as possible.
Yeah.
This whole freak show, it's so tired at this point. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, Dwayne Wade, what a disappointment. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I mean, first of all, the fact that you would even marry something like Gabrielle Union speaks volumes. But okay,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. You know, you see all these women with these beta males, right?
Yeah.
You notice how they go out of their way every so often to embarrass them?
Oh yeah.
They despise these men. I'm talking
Yeah.
about from here. You know, it comes
Yes.
from in here. You
It's
understand what I'm
it's it's
saying?
it's that bile in that gut. It's that from deep within the
From deep
bowels,
within,
the
the
intestines.
bile from
It's
deep within. You dig?
Yeah.
She does it. Jada Pinkett Smith does it. Sierra does it. All these women with these beta males come out
Mm.
and embarrass their dude at some point. Why did
Yeah.
she need to say that? Just let's think for a minute. I know a lot of y'all worship celebrities out there. I hope we don't have any Gabrielle Union or Dwayne Wade worshipers in here because, listen, it's about to get crazy. You understand what I'm saying? But what logical reason did she have to put that information out there than to embarrass this man and create an
Yeah.
unnecessary headline and unnecessary publicity for their already weirdo ass family? You understand what I'm saying? What did she need to do that for? You
Correct.
got to think about these things. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the disrespect is just otherworldly. You
Yeah.
know, if you feel like you need to do that, that's your business. You
Correct.
understand? But at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. Gabby
Yeah.
was getting a little long in the tooth, right?
Yeah.
She been passed around the whole industry, so ain't nobody else really want her like that, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let me find me a simp. You understand what I'm saying? They're like a little ass play, whatever the case may be, and I'm gonna hitch my wagon to him. You
Yeah.
did? You
Exactly.
hit the lottery. You hit the
and
lottery, son.
that's a double entendre, unfortunately.
But you hit the lottery. You dig? The man got wealth. He good. You a V-list actress. And you
Yeah.
old. You dig?
Yeah.
So you hit the lottery, but now, you know, I guess since you figure, okay, I'm married to this guy, whatever the case may be, if something go wrong, something go left, I'm gonna get half all his shit anyway. So now you're gonna come out and do this. But this
Correct.
is what happens when you enter into situations as a beta male. You know,
Yeah.
they're always going to come and disrespect you. It's always going to happen. And why these dudes continue to put themselves in that type of position is beyond me.
Beyond me.
Come on, bruh. You
And
Dwayne Wade.
yeah.
First off rip, that's the best you could do. Come on, bruh. Like it angers me. You know what I'm saying? But okay,
Yeah.
that's what you did. Okay, whatever. But now you gotta deal with her every now and again coming out embarrassing you or whatever the case may be, talking just some of the things that have come out of this woman's mouth. Oh, I'm gonna teach his son how to be a girl. The
Yeah.
fuck, bruh, like really? Then she came
Yeah.
out talking about how she eats his ass. She was Sookie before Sookie.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
Sookie,
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
Sookie got the inspiration to make that song, I Eat a Nigga Ass, from Gabrielle Union. I think that's where she got
It
it from.
could. It could be from
Could have been from Vivica Fox.
Vivica Fox. Yeah. That's yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. But, bro, what all this oversharing shit we don't need to
Yeah.
know. Like, bro, you hit the lick, you hit the lottery, you good. Live your life and stay out the damn public eye.
Yeah.
What is so hard about that?
Yeah.
God damn.
Definitely. We had another girl who responded to that, and she wrote this. So, like I said,
Yeah.
there's a gender warring going on with that topic. She
Yeah.
says, I'm not splitting anything with a man who got 3 kids and a bonus child. I'm not splitting anything with a man who made a bonus child that I got to look at as a constant reminder. I'm not. Why does millionaire Gabrielle Union sound like she living paycheck to paycheck with her husband?
Oh,
So,
well, okay. So check it. That's got two sides too, because aren't these women who be saying the same shit the ones who be running around talking about, oh, I'm a boss bitch and I'm a
yeah,
boss bitch that, right? So if
yeah,
you a boss bitch, pay that half like a boss bitch and shut your ass up.
yeah. It's the
Or
convenience.
or go ahead, Bob. I'm done. I'm done for now. Go
Pick,
jump in.
pick,
So
pick
tag
me,
Shit.
team.
teacher. Pick me. Pick me, teacher.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead, Bobby. What you got?
teacher, I thought, according to the interwebs and social media, I thought that I thought going 50-50 was only for broke niggas.
Ah,
Mm,
hold up now. Hold up. Hold up.
that's
I
true.
Come
thought that
on
was only
down.
a broke nigga
Come
thing,
on
but
Yeah,
down.
you're right.
but
You're right.
I'm gonna post that shit with that
but
same caption
I'm,
Dwayne
tomorrow.
hey,
but
real quick,
Dwayne
I'm gonna
Union,
add,
I mean Dwayne Wade, he not only is he a multi-millionaire, but he has a significantly higher net worth than
Mm.
Gabrielle Union.
yeah,
Mm. Mm.
I thought only broke niggas wanted their women to go 50.
yeah. Remember,
Carry the
remember,
two,
remember the guy.
divide the.
What was the linebacker from Kansas City? Remember that came out?
Oh,
No, not the line, the tight
the tight
end.
end,
I mean,
He
tight end,
gave her
not
a
Kelsey.
hundred
linebacker, tight
dollars.
end. Yes,
He
yes,
gave her
Kelsey.
$100 their whole relationship.
Yes, Kelsey. And
Oh.
and remember that women was making excuses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So it all is about
Moving the goalpost.
convenience. Yes,
Yes.
it's about convenience of what
And
they
who was
want,
it
the
that
narrative they
said,
want to push at the time.
was it who it wasn't who was it? It was some rapper. It wasn't No, it was I think Drake said the same thing too, but remember supposedly before Colin Kaepernick got with Nessa, Brittany Renner was talking about that she tried to get with Colin, but she flew herself out to see him. He didn't fly
Okay.
her. She went ahead and
How
pulled up
about
her
that?
own money. And I
Yeah,
think Drake, another rapper, said that he's never flown a chick out. Chicks have flown themselves up on their own
yeah,
dime to go see him.
yeah,
You damn
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I thought it
They
was
must be
broke
broke.
niggas that
They must be broke. All of them.
gotta be,
All
gotta
of
Yeah.
them.
be.
It's so
Um,
funny how these. Oh God. Go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
completely divorced from reality. And again, I'm not advocating whether you should split bills or what have you, or for the man to pay off for the woman. But I'm not advocating or saying any of that. I'm
Mhm.
simply saying that if you were to allow the talk and all these rigid standards, I refuse to go 50-50 with a man. He has to bring such and such. And
Yeah.
some of these same
Mm.
women saying that, talking about they looking for these dudes that
Mm.
make six figures, these big provider types. You got
How
dudes
about that?
multimillionaires, and you're showing that you really are very ignorant of what
Mm,
is out here and how it works.
correct.
That's not to say that every single millionaire celebrity has their significant other going 50-50 or splitting with them.
Mm.
Hmm.
But the reality is there's different dynamics in what works for their household and different principles and standards.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
just
she's.
because you split bills with your significant other does not make you a bad spouse or a bad mate. If that right there is the one thing that separates. Matter of fact, let me put it this way, and this to any woman listening: if you have a man that checks off every single box, I mean every single box, even the small minor stuff that you didn't even think was essential that you were going to be able to get, every single box, and the only catch, the only caveat is that he refuses to pay all the bills despite the fact that he's got it like that. He requires you to go 50-50. I'm going to say this. If you overlook that man, you are an idiot. You are
Exactly.
a fool.
Real talk.
Definitely.
Real
If he
talk.
checks off every other box and that right there is the deal breaker, you can't go. Something is wrong up here.
There's something wrong, bro.
Think
Real
about
talk.
Something
it,
is
right?
wrong up here.
And the reason why something is wrong is think about it. And women, you gotta understand this is the most easiest logic that you could put in your brain right now. Like Bobby said, if he checks off every last one of your boxes, and that's the only issue, think about it. If you didn't have this man in your life, you would be paying 100% of the bills.
Like I said, right,
If
you're
nothing
paying
else,
half
he
the
halved
bills
your
of what you're
financial
paying now,
output. If
you're
nothing
winning.
else,
right,
You're winning if you're paying half of anything right now. You're winning,
bruh. This is like
yeah,
especially
our
like he
during a
old,
either chopped
recession.
your expenditures in half, or he made it so now you're able to afford better. If you guys have moved, you guys have relocated to someplace that's better, whatever. Or
real
he's
talk.
made it where you're able to basically get more for what you're paying.
Exactly.
Either way, it's a win. And the
It's
Listen,
a
reality
win.
is, nobody is perfect. And this is the thing
Exactly.
that's really irritating about these kind of conversations with these people. For starters, for that to even be a deal breaker, I'm pretty sure that most of those people can't even quantify why it's a deal breaker for them. It just sounds cool on social media. They just want some bonus likes or whatever.
they heard somebody say it.
Nobody's perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. As much as you might be annoyed at the idea of going 50-50, trust and believe
Yeah.
there's something about you that a potential man is going to be irritated and annoyed with as well.
Yeah.
Real talk.
When you pass gas, the room isn't filled with a scent of Skittles. Your shit stinks too.
Yeah.
You have some bad habits, some bad traits, and bad characteristics about yourself as well.
Real
Anyone
talk.
getting with you is more than likely going to have to compromise on a couple things. But that's the point. Compromise.
Correct.
If you have a good man, if you have a good woman, and they check off most of your boxes, I'm not saying that you have to go ahead and, if you got 10 things on the list, go ahead and settle for only 3. I'm not saying that. But if you have at least the lion's share of your needs and wants being met,
Listen,
is that really is out of all other things, that right there is the hill that you want to die on?
let me, bro, let me chime in on this. I'm going to just go a step further than you. Stop talking stupid with all this 50-50 bullshit. Just stop.
Yeah.
You sound like a moron. There's nothing intelligent that comes from that conversation. And I asked them, okay, so what about 55-45? Is that cool? 40-60? Is that cool? At what point does it become palatable and acceptable for you? Since you're so hung up on percentages. Like, that is the dumbest shit I've heard recently in arguments on the internet or whatever, and even publicly, because we've seen this, when we go to the little spots
Sadly.
or whatever, it's some bird that's going to bring up this 50-50 shit too. Just stop.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I pointed this out in one of these circles, there are four, not 14, not 40, 4, damn it, 4% of households in this country exist and operate on one income. You can look that up at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay? That being said, okay, you're because what they're really trying to say is they want a man who pays all the bills. That's really the sweet spot that they want to get to. That's really the place where they're trying to go. And look, it's not that type of landscape now. It's a pipe dream for 96% of y'all ass. It's a pipe dream. It's not gonna happen. So just shut up about it already. You sound stupid. Stop trying to find ways to lose. You understand what I'm saying?
And I'm going to give you another reason why it's so ridiculous and asinine. Because here's the thing. First and foremost, there's no real way to 50-50 in and of itself is just a metaphor, because there's no way that y'all have sat down and take a look at your expenses and your expenditures, what have you, and your incomes, and said, okay, so this is what the sum amount is. Half of this is going to be such and such. You're going to pay this. You're going to pay that. There's no way that's being done. And you know why I know that's not being done? Because one of the top 2 causes of divorce and the end of relationships period is financial.
Money. Yes.
Y'all going into these relationships off top, not discussing finances. Y'all in the relationship, not discussing finances. So I know good and damn well y'all not diligent enough to sit down and actually do some accounting and budgeting like that. Y'all ain't doing it. You lie.
My favorite talking point? I just got to put this in there. My favorite talking point? White men pay all the bills.
We gotta definitely do a show about myths.
That right there, That whole
Yeah.
Boy, them white,
concept is definitely
listen.
something that can only be said in the bubble. Because
Yeah.
I have not yet, and I'm an old head on these interwebs because I'm
Oh,
part of that generation
yeah.
we got the internet when we were in elementary school, so we literally grew up with the internet and social media from
Right,
the
right,
AOL and the IR chat rooms all the way to now. So
right.
we seen it all. I'm an old head.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have
Hmm.
never in my lifetime seen a black woman any non-white woman. I've never seen a black woman though drop some nonsense about black men are just such and such. White men would never do such as I've never seen they get injected out into the public discourse and
What?
not seen a white man or two or several respond and say, actually, here's why you're wrong, and make them look like a whole entire jackass. I've never
Yeah.
not seen it.
Bruh,
And when I be seeing how they be going in, I actually feel bad for them. Like, you know what?
bruh.
Sit back, Peter Peckerwood. You're doing too much now. She's already down. You already hit her with a knockout blow. Now you just beat.
Yeah.
It's
They are
disgusting. Now back
harsh.
up. You've done enough.
I
They
just had
are
to throw that
harsh.
That's
in.
why they can only say that in private because if they say that in mixed company, they know damn well they're gonna get knocked down and made to look foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their egos can't. I've literally seen sisters boo-hoo crying online
I've seen it.
because they thought Zaddy was gonna be different. They found out no, he's not different. He is a man.
Look what happened to the child's father of Holly Berry. That motherfucker put her on child support
Yeah, he
quick.
did.
Even look at the girl who was on the Parkers, the
Yeah.
black chick from the Parkers, and he had a baby from Britney Spears. He put her black ass on child support. Then he was trying to get Britney on
Some
child
white ass.
support. That
Yeah,
yeah, you know what I'm
yeah.
Okay.
saying? Yeah,
Her white ass. Yeah, he put her on child support. Yeah, bruh. It's
yeah.
serious out here.
Yeah, dog.
This
These
is why
white
you
boys are
need to be reality
savages.
based. That
Yeah,
they
man,
wrote the handbook.
these white guys are savages. They don't
I
care about
actually
women.
heard a sister, and of course, you just know, of course, she was speaking with the most authority and confidence, talking
Mhm.
about black men and I'm talking about black men and red pill, whatever. Talk about white men don't do such and such. And I'm like, ma'am, you know
I
that
was on
black
that
men
thread.
did not found. Yeah, you were there. Like
I
you
was
know
on that
black
thread.
men didn't found red pill. You know that this is the brainchild of white men.
Right.
Mhm.
I just know you've heard the name Rollo Tomasi or you've seen that these are the godfathers, the architects of the red pill movement. Now, black men are the ones who, as is the case with most things black people touch, we made it pop off. We made it
Right.
hot. We
Right.
injected it into the mainstream public discourse and lexicon. But way before
Mhm.
this became a household talking point and common knowledge, the white folks was at this.
Right.
Yeah,
But here you are, just confidently casing how ignorant you are, putting this on us. Like, ma'am,
Hmm.
get informed. This is a byproduct of what happens when you do not live in reality and you live in possibility. We talked about this recently as well too. The whole
yeah,
idea of not living according to reality and logic, but based on fantasy and wishes and low probabilities because you're hoping it's going to come to fruition. We talked about
correct,
this, and
Mm-hmm.
it
yeah,
sets you up for failure. It sets you up to look stupid.
correct.
Just saying.
Yeah, we just hey, like fellas, you gotta tighten up. Y'all gotta pull back. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta step up and make sure that you putting your foot down on some of these women. Here's a prime example of that.
No, 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 no. I took this one out for you. You take this one, I keep this. You are not taking my whole wallet so you can go shopping.
I was just gonna buy some groceries.
Were you now?
Look at the look on George's
Juice
face, bro.
That nigga said bullshit.
Yo, George was not having it.
He was
Oh
not
my
having it at all.
God.
Not
You are
having it at
not
all.
taking my whole wallet so you can go shopping, goddammit. You
That
damn
man
right.
said.
You gotta pull
That
back.
man said, "I do not go and waste my 40 hours slaving away for Mr. friggin' Spacely for you to come in here with your bull.
He pulled
Oh,
her
we
ass
gotta
back
watch.
in the spaceship, bro.
We got to watch that again. That was too funny, man. Hold on.
No,
Watch
no,
that again.
no. I took this one out for you. You take this one, I keep this. You are not taking my whole wallet so you can go shop.
The look of disgust on his face.
How
That's
many
how Joe
episodes?
Biden looks at black people. Damn.
Yeah.
Yo.
Not wrong.
I want to show you guys this video as well. It
Go
really
ahead.
gets in the topic because a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of women that are out here telling the truth of what's going on. Collectively, we need to understand what's being told and being honest with ourselves so we can push back and get the right, correct narrative and agenda on plate and not have these people just push anything down our throats and we accept it. So I want y'all to pay attention to this.
A gender war? Absolutely. There's a gender war because men are the underdogs right now. Men are the ones being told you're feared, you're wrong, everything you do is wrong, go make money, don't show emotion, be. Women are making a rise to the top. We've over-feminized so much and included women so much, which is great, but we don't have to tear men down to include women.
So why is there so much talk about male privilege?
Because for a long time there was male privilege, and now the script is flipped. Now women are the ones with privilege, but no one's ready to hear that.
But why are we still talking about male privilege?
Because no one's ready for it. We're not ready to make that change. We're seeing more women in films, more women in power. The amount of jobs that I have seen that say women only is ridiculous. In an effort to...
Real talk. Real talk. And you know what's crazy? I was watching my cousin's graduation yesterday, right? You know that that brought Ebony K. Williams. She came to mind because she was talking about how, you know, so many more black women are in college and graduating college than black men, or whatever the case may be. And when you think about it, women are the majority population. There are more black women than black men. So that kind of makes sense in that regard. And this, my cousin goes to a school that is not a black school. And I was sitting up there for 20 minutes at a time sometime waiting to hear a male name. You understand what I'm saying? The overwhelming majority of graduates, because, you know, you got to sit there for 2-3 hours listening to all these names. And I'm listening, and you hear a male name here and there, you know, but, you know, people like that like to pretend that these trends, that if you read, you can clearly see that these are trends that are happening across the board, across all racial and cultural lines. You know, they want to pretend this is only happening to black people, you know, and somehow black men are so bad because, you know, this is only happening within our community. I just wanted to kind of point that out. It kind of dovetails with what she just said. You know what I mean? Like, you know, now women, you know, they get a gang of privilege that unfortunately a lot of times is undeserved. I'm in IT. They go out of their way to give women positions in IT that have very little to no experience in IT simply because they are female. You understand what I'm saying? And they've been doing this for a while. You understand? But nobody wants to talk about that. When you have plenty of men that are very qualified, overqualified, that can't get hired in many instances. She's absolutely right. She's spot on. You know, and that is something that's going to need to be addressed as well, you know, because all these damn feminists out here, you know, that want to pretend that, you know, this isn't happening. Now you're seeing the pushback from the men. In many regards, there is no gender war, man. It's just the men are tired of the goddamn abuse, and the men are speaking up now. You know,
finally using their voice.
A lot of women talked about misogyny. Oh, you hate the women. Oh, Lord. All this for how long? When there is this misandrous culture of male bashing that has been pervasive for the past 40 goddamn years. Are you serious? You understand? I mean, you got in media, in song. You know, you got I Don't Want No Scrubs. You got Waiting to Exhale. You got anything from Tyler Perry. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, Come on now. You know,
But
and they
this,
just
but this always happens, though. If you haven't noticed, anytime it comes to men saying something that isn't basically, it's a
yes,
problem
yes,
because
dear. Yes,
because
dear.
what is one of the huge buzzwords and philosophies recently when it comes to men? We want men to be more vulnerable. Men don't
Uh-huh.
express themselves. They don't share. They don't emote. And then what
Well,
happens
now,
when
goddamn it.
men do take them up on the offer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh, it's
he's doing
coming.
too much, or she's turned off, or
He's too
he
sassy. He's
he's too
feminized.
sassy, or all he does is complain, or I know I said I wanted that, but he's doing too much now. Or they
Uh-huh.
hold on to it later on and use it against him. So when he actually goes ahead and does what you ask of him, it's an issue.
Right.
When men express themselves and say, "Hey, this is the problem, such and such," now he's the issue.
Yeah, if you want a man, just say that. That's the new talking point.
Right.
Anytime
That
you
that
say
that, that
something,
must mean you're gay. Not that
yeah.
now that you're man and you play with penis or you play
Mm.
with male cheeks. No, that doesn't make you gay. Now expressing this is what I have, this is what I see wrong with the picture, that makes you gay.
Right.
Man, I'll pay good money to have somebody say that stupid shit to me. I will light their ass up. They'll be crying by the time they get off the book or the gram or wherever
No,
it is that they said that. Because
no.
I won't stop. I won't stop. Because now you trying me. It's getting personal now. So now I gotta look at
The
them
devil knows
pictures.
who to try.
I
The
gotta look at
devil
them
knows who to
pictures.
try.
You dig? I gotta talk about them. I gotta talk about them underarms. I gotta talk about them 10 chins. I gotta talk about the hairline is way back here. You dig? I gotta go in now. I gotta go in because you're attacking. Because they every now and again somebody will at me with something stupid. You
Mhm.
know, you
Bless their
know,
hearts.
it's rare. But every now and again somebody will get bucked.
Yeah.
And man, I try to leave them with their legs, but sometimes you just got to take them apart because that has nothing to do with anything. Because I had to just stop myself and kind of stay on topic and not get too personal. But like, because I'm telling you, basically, and even sisters that we know and respect, I've had to check on this, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm talking about when men are talking about some of these things that bother us, that get under our skin, that we have disdain for.
Mm.
It's seldom anything petty. It's usually, something that has some legs, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
what I had to point out is you do understand that you're telling me, you always talking about how women are being abused and disrespected or whatever. You're telling me
Mhm.
not to check somebody when they're abusing me. That's what
Mm.
you're telling me to
Mhm.
do.
Yes.
All this shit that you're over here whining and bitching and moaning about, this is abuse. And we're tired of it. And that's what we're telling you. Somehow, your stupid ass got from that, oh, you're gay. You can think whatever the hell you want to think. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't qualify for me doesn't make me gay. You understand what I'm saying? You can think whatever the hell you want, but at the end of the day, you got to kind of let them know this has nothing to do with anything sexual. Really. We're talking about issues. And you're such a low quality, low energy miscreant that you make it about sexuality.
Exactly.
Says a lot about you, but men are the perverts. But you take when we're talking to you about issues that you
Yeah.
complain we don't communicate enough. Okay, now we're talking to you about issues and you
Yeah.
make it about sexuality. What a
Correct.
monkey. Who does things like that?
Correct.
But
Jesus.
and they'll leverage all manner of psychobabble talk about you're gaslighting this, that, and the third, you're doing all these other things.
They do that too, yes.
Meanwhile, they're the ones that do it. So what it shows is that in many cases, what
Mm-hmm.
we think of as gender warring, a lot of the underpinnings of it, the basis of it, really stems from hypocrisy.
Yeah.
True.
because
True.
we'll have issues because we have issues where, like you said, some of the very same things that they'll call out. This is misogynistic. You're gaslighting, you're attacking, you're shaming, you're doing this, this, and the third.
Yeah.
Many of the same people making the biggest ruckus about it do the exact same things. In
Real
some
talk.
cases, they're doing the same sentence.
Yeah. Real talk.
But
Real talk.
before they even get to the period, the question mark, or the exclamation mark, right
Yeah.
at the end, they went ahead and did the same thing they were just talking about. He was like, so the issue isn't that this is being done. The issue is that it's being done to you. If you're the one that's lobbing the bullets, it's fine. As long as you're
Exactly.
as long as you're the rabbit with the gun, it's fine. But when the rabbit has the gun, now it's an issue.
Precisely.
And it goes
So,
back to the question of, so supposedly the issue is, like you're talking about, the issues about equality. Is it really equality you're after, or do you just simply want to flip the tables and be on the quote unquote winning side? Do
great
you actually
question.
want to get to a place of equivalence where neither men nor women are above the other, or do you want to get a place where it's women with the female privilege and they're lording it over the men to go ahead and get your lick back? And I spoke about this on I think it was on one of Fee's posts where I
Yeah.
said the whole concept of getting revenge on your significant other. I think the context was someone was asking for advice because their husband cheated on them early in the relationship, and they decided to go in and get their lick back
Yeah.
and cheat on them. And when she did that, and he found out about it years and years later, it essentially tainted his mental. He was still physically attracted to her sexually, but it tainted his mental attraction to her, and he was having erectile dysfunction as a result of it.
Mm.
And I responded and I said, this is a classic example of grabbing the hot coal that's burning your hand so you can throw it to the other person. Revenge has no place in a relationship. It's either you're going to go ahead and forgive this person
Right.
and let it go or not. And a lot of people have this mentality that forgiveness is essentially not getting your lick back.
True.
And that's
True.
why they have issues with forgiveness. You can't make progress like that. If your whole mindset is, I got to get my lick back,
Yeah.
that's not what forgiveness is.
True.
Forgiveness is saying, I acknowledge that this happened, but we're going to make the effort to move beyond this. We're not going to let this get in the way of the future.
Mm.
Now, that might mean that now the forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to continue together on this path. It might mean we need to separate, but it means I'm willing to just let bygones be bygones so we can get past this. Whether that means we're getting past it together as a team, as a couple, or we're getting past, I'm moving on in my life, leaving this behind me, and you're moving on in your life, leaving this behind you.
Right.
That's
Real
the
talk.
issue. If
Real
we're
talk.
talking about solving the quote unquote gender war, we're not going to be doing it as long as both sides are saying, well, I want to get my lick back.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here all day. No, yeah, we can
Mm.
we can move on,
Yeah.
but I gotta get my lick back first. Then we're not gonna be able to move past this.
Real talk.
There's been a lot of solutions that have been also picked out, and I was gonna say this towards the end, and I'll reemphasize this there. But the biggest issue is that although there's been a lot of back and forth, there has been a good number of solutions to a number of our issues that have been put forward. But the issue is, and I think I've pointed this out before, the issue is implementation.
Mm.
We can
True.
chop this up all day long, but once actual solutions are put forth, the question is, are you going to implement them so we can put this to bed, or at least test to see if this doesn't work, we'll try something else, or are you going to leave it alone, ignore it, and keep on going? Because at that point, the issue is no longer about solutions. The problem is you don't want the situation to end,
Correct.
or you
Real
want to
talk.
end on your terms. You don't want to
Mhm.
actually come to a place where everyone can walk away from the table with something. You're trying to win at all costs. Damn the other person.
Well, that comes back to what now? Selfishness. And by definition, if you are in a relationship with another person, you're supposed to be selfless. You're both supposed to put the other person before yourself.
You're supposed to be a
You
servant,
know?
is what you're supposed to be.
Hmm?
You're serving. You're supposed to be a servant, is what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be serving
Exactly.
their needs, and they serve you. And when you're doing that, you don't have to worry about getting shortchanged because you're covered.
Right.
And that's beautiful.
Service.
If you keep pouring out the cup and nothing's coming back in, the cup is going to run dry. You won't have for them or for yourself.
Real
But
talk.
if you're pouring
Service
out your
is
cup,
duty.
if you got like a little spigot that's pouring out, and they have a little spigot that's pouring out into yours, and it's on a loop, you're never going to run dry.
You're nice.
You're now free to give everything you have, to give the best of you to that person because you know that they're giving the best to you. There only is an issue in the supply chain when someone isn't doing their part.
Exactly.
And you have to be able to hear that you're not doing your part and want to get better. Otherwise, if you're perfectly fine with the way things are, that means that you are selfish and you are a taker. You're not looking to give. You're trying to hit a lick. You're trying to score a come up.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
I'm glad you said that. That's going to segue into our next segment, which is question of the day.
Let's get it.
The question of the day. I saw this brother had a good question and wanted to share with you guys, right? So he said, I just wanted to get an understanding. I have no problem going on dates, but when I hear men are supposed to court if they are pursuing a woman, then what are women supposed to do during the courting process? This is a legitimate question.
Yes, it is.
What do you guys have for the answer for that?
I'll say this. For me, and I think more broadly, women need to show effort and kind of along the lines of what Bobby just said. They need to reciprocate when interested, right? When interested and when equally vested, they need to reciprocate the energy and make themselves available. I know, Ant, some time ago you made you didn't make a post, but I think it was on one of the shows that we were on. You were talking about, how a brother was, trying to holler at this woman, and he like, okay, so let's hook up. What you doing Monday? Oh, I'm busy Monday. Oh, Tuesday. Oh, I got the kids Tuesday. Wednesday. Oh, I got to do. So every day of the week, he had something going on, whereas she was not available to receive his pursuit. You understand? So first and foremost, that's it. You need to reciprocate the energy and make yourself available to receive the pursuit. And I think just putting your best self forward and showing the utmost respect go a long way, especially in this day and age when you have a large percentage of women out here who go out of their way to not show respect for women. To not show respect for men, or to not give men the proper respect. Sisters need to really be as feminine as possible, as emotionally available as possible, and reciprocating that energy during that phase. And I think you'll be all right. You don't have to do much. The onus is on the man. We accept that. We accept that. But I think that sisters need to respect the fact that the onus is on the man and he has to do a lot. You know what I mean? So if you're really interested, lend yourself to that brother. Of course, you do your proper vetting first. Don't just welcome anybody in. But once you've decided, hey, this is something that you want to rock with, and this is somebody that you want to really get to know, put your best self forward, and open up and be emotionally and physically available and reciprocate the energy that the brother is putting forth. And I think everything goes well.
I agree with that.
Correct.
I just want to add in that make sure, like Major was saying, be available, because I'm tired of the talk about, you guys arguing about men not planning stuff. But when men go out here and plan something, then you're not available for the plans because your schedule is busy. See, this is what I don't understand. You guys want things to be based off old school, but you guys don't have the old school dynamics. You're not home 24 hours of the day. So when the man back in the day used to come home, he used to tell you, honey, get yourself together. We're going out to eat. You ain't got no plans. You took care of the children all day. So now you getting dolled up. You're excited. The energy is feeling good and everything. Now you're in the career field. You're in the workspace. Now you're working just as hard as the man, because the people who run the companies are paying less but extending the hours and responsibilities. So now he's working long shifts, you're working long shifts. You might have children. He might not have children, or whatever the case may be. He might have children. But if he puts in the effort to say, okay, I'm gonna make sure this is good. Okay, this the day. All right, let me go ahead and take you out. Make sure you're available for him to take you out. Once you start making excuses and you start pushing back, then guess what? This brother is now going to be frustrated, and he's not going to have the same enthusiasm as he did when he initially pursued you the first time. And
Real talk.
also, a lot of y'all women, you guys do a lot of contradicting stuff that hurts in the background. Like you guys, a lot of women always talk, I talked about this before, how you want men to spend money on you, but when your child is under your roof and he wants to buy the little girl at school a gift, you tell him you don't want to use your money on no hussy. So when he gets older, he gets tight pocket. Now the same thing that y'all talk about with as far as men going out there pursuing you, and you're denying him, or you're putting up these obstacles and making it harder for him to get a direct connect for a date. Remember, there's women out there that's in his ear,
creating the same problems they complain about.
Exactly. Right. There's women out there in his ear saying that, oh, if she doesn't make time, she don't like you.
Real talk.
And that could not be the case in this situation. It can't be but you have women that put this narrative out there. So now he sits back and says, all right, then forget it. I'm not going to pursue you. And then you run around and make these posts like multiple women that say, oh, men don't want to pursue women no more. Men don't want to holler at women no more. No, because now we have to run on eggshells because you either blast somebody in the inbox or whatever because he says hi to you or what's up, queen. Now you want to make an example out of him for your social media gathering to make
clout chasing.
Clout chasing, right? On his expense and his humility. So a lot of men are more reserved now. If they throw out a pebble, they're not waiting for a big splash. They want to see if it ripples. If it's a ripple in the ocean, they like, okay, cool. But if I throw the rock and ain't nothing happen, then guess what? I'm going to throw a rock somewhere else. I don't have time to waste. A lot of men don't have time to waste. They're saving themselves from the embarrassment and the games that a lot of these women play that don't want to tell people that they out here playing games just to see how much you are pursuing of that person. Bullshit. We ain't got time for games. You grown, I'm grown. Make it happen.
Real talk. Everything that brother just said. Go ahead, Bob.
I've literally dropped it. I've literally cut off getting to know people for that same exact thing, and it makes no sense. And we're talking about people who know someone who you're having great dialogue with, great conversation with, and it's that whole nonsense, that whole being aloof.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a tactic that's being exercised or what, but it's crazy. I'm actually looking at an old message right now, and I was asking sister because she seemed to have the right mindset. I'm like, okay, cool, something can pop out from this. Asked how our weekend plans was coming along. She's like, just hanging out with some friends, nothing crazy. So then I hit her up later on because she was like on a nighttime schedule. I hit her up the next day. I said, hey, hope you're good. How do you feel about going out, grabbing a few drinks, getting some what have you tomorrow? She responded late, which is fine, saying, I can't. I actually have to work today, so I can't. This is on the weekend. She said nothing was popping off. She was working, whatever. So I know so I'm like, okay, it's all good. It's a little late anyways. What does your schedule look like? So I pitched you an opportunity. You said you can't make it. You told me before that you were clear the weekend. Nothing was happening. Now you're working. Okay, cool. So it's reasonable. What is your schedule? Let me see what fits.
Right.
She gonna respond, I'm a nurse. I work 3 nights a week. My schedule varies.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to link up with you, trying to meet up with you. You already saw I reached out, then you had an issue where, okay, the schedule was closed. Okay, so what days are open? My schedule varies. I work 3 nights a week. Well, damn it, when is the next day you're supposed to have? As soon as I saw that, I never responded.
Well, see that one right there.
I don't know if she's alive or dead. I'm just, we're done. I'm not even going to try and push this. No, we're adults. Why?
It's like either she's not interested or real stupid. Because at the end of the day,
and I ain't got patience for either one.
Exactly. She sees you trying, and she needs to reciprocate that energy. Okay, you're having difficulty because of her schedule. Okay, let me find the gap in my schedule where we can do this. Since it's on me. You know what I'm saying? That's common sense. If she's not doing it, listen.
It should be. It should be common sense. That's the problem.
Yes.
Listen. And
Nowadays, common sense is a superhuman power. If you have common sense today, you qualify for admission to the X-Men, the Avengers, the Justice League, and several other superhero and civic organizations.
you
You
can be a
are at
transformer.
God,
Yeah,
whatever you
boy.
want to be. You could be a transformer.
Well, look,
It's
bro,
that bad.
let me tell you something. Real talk. And now, while you're saying that, and I know that I've been there. Since we don't have no sisters on, I gotta also speak for the sisters in this capacity because what happens, from what sisters tell me, is
You
that
tell him,
brothers.
you tell him, Major. You tell him.
what brothers, but what brothers will do sometimes is brothers will say, "Hey, let's hook up, on this day," and then they'll just disappear. You know what I'm saying? Or they just,
Absolutely.
they'll just disappear altogether. And then they hit her up the next day. Oh, my bad, I fell asleep. Whatever. And a lot of times, from what I understand, he was probably out with the next chick or whatever the case may be. But just the whole act of just being dishonorable and getting our face dirty, brothers, we gotta do better on that. You know what I'm saying? Like if we hit sisters up and we like, yo, let's go out, da 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 da. I want to get to know you. I want to chill with you, dog. And you make a commitment, unless God forbid, emergency pop up. You got to take your daughter to the hospital or whatever. I don't know. Whatever happens, your car break down, and then if that happens, communicate it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, this is a big thing with people, just not being able to be in sync long enough to hook up for a simple date on both sides. And look, with me, I have no patience. Like, yo, I give you 3 times max to not respond to me. Like, and this is through all types of communication. So if I send you a text, if I call, then I send you a text, because I usually do that. I'll call. If you don't answer, I'll send you a text. That's 2. You understand what I'm saying? I might, if I really like your ass, I might call you one more time or text you one more time. If I don't hear back from you, you can get the hell up out my face.
Return
and
to
I
sender.
yeah, real talk, because people ain't got time to be wasting like that. Especially when you do your research and you see that you got people out here that just go on dates for free food and shit. Like, no, not from me. You understand? So like, and I think that we need to get out of the stage where, for men and for women, when we're in the early phases, you just met this person and they're playing games already. You are sending a very bad representation of what is supposed to be your best self. You can't return simple goddamn phone calls and texts to the point where we can, make a connection and hook up to see each other.
Yeah.
How are we gonna facilitate a relationship? Just saying. And I'll land my plane there. Go ahead, and I'll be here all night talking to you.
So to answer the question to the brother posed, best way I can do it is using the analogy of gardening or farming. As a man, it is your job in the courting process, it is your job to sow the seeds, to toss the seeds out there. That's your job. Her role is of the soil, where she is to take hold of the seed, nurture it, and make something pop off. In other words, you're taking the lead, you're taking the initiative. She's supposed to be cooperating with the agenda. She's supposed to be facilitating that. And now, due to her cooperation and participation with you, things are able to develop and blossom. Now, I'm not saying you say jump and she's supposed to, do cartwheels and backflips. I'm not saying that. But if you're putting forth effort, let's do this, let's take this. She's supposed to be going along with it for the most part. It is to a lesser extent really about her basically watching you to see who you are and really see if you are who you say you are. If you really that dude. Are you him Duncan? Are you himmy Superfly Snook? Are you himmy Butler?
Real talk.
That's what it's about. So you're taking the initiative. You're here auditioning for her to see. Okay, well, she's gonna get to see what kind of man I am. As she responds, as she reacts to your input and to your coordination, because remember, a lot of people will say, "Well, that sounds like it benefits the woman." No, she benefits, but you benefit as well too, because as she might be the recipient of your leadership and you going, you also get to choose how you go about it. So if you're intelligent, you're not just randomly saying, "Well, let's go have a picnic. Uh, let's go here. Let's go there." You should be setting the stage where you can see what you need to see out of her and vet her properly. So
Yeah.
yes, she's along for the ride and she's enjoying it, but you also get to see how she responds, what she does, the same way she gets to see how you think and how you move. So you
Yeah.
gain to feel each other out. So you casting out the seeds, she's catching the seeds, and hopefully something's gonna bloom and blossom out of that, or it doesn't. That's how the game goes.
Dope. Dope analogy. And let me just add to that real quick before you move on. And I just gotta invoke my grandmother one more time. Shosho always used to tell us no experience is lost. So not only do you get to see in real time, how this young lady moves, how she, motions, what her qualifications are or aren't, you also get to add that to your repertoire so that you know what to look for going forward and how to move going forward. It'll make you a sharper man overall and someone who's much sharper in the dating game, in the dating realm, so that you're not wasting your time and so forth. I think that's very important to add in as well.
Yes, definitely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go into our next segment. Hell yeah or hell no.
Let's get it.
So let's get it. Let's get
Yeah.
it. All right.
Boom.
Hell no. Hell yeah, hell no. Let's go. All right, first up, Red Fox. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, that's my guy.
R.I.P.
yeah.
to the OG. Rest in
Definitely.
peace.
All right, next up is DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll say yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
give a yeah. I don't know about a hell yeah. I'll give him a yeah.
Yeah, I give it yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's some DC shit. Greenland. I like the Greenland, even though the movie sucks.
That's
I'll
my
go with
man's.
Greenland. Yeah.
We don't talk about that movie. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm still bitter. And that's what I was
And
camping
then
out
you
for.
got Aquaman. Aquaman movies is sick. That's dope. Yeah, so I'll give it. Yeah.
DC's on top. I always liked their comics because I always felt that Marvel's was a bit, not that I'm not, because I like Marvel too, but I always felt that Marvel's characters, whatever, were always a bit more kind of, I guess,
Cartoon and kiddish.
A bit more unrealistic. DC almost felt more grounded, more gritty, what have you. As far as the entertainment goes, Marvel runs the war with the movies.
They run the yard.
DC's animated joints are real quality stuff. I'm talking about not the kiddie stuff, but real good. If I'm mad that they can't seem to take what they do with the animated films and flip on the screen, because if they did, they'd easily be watching Marvel.
I think they're doing that on purpose. I think they want Marvel to be that. They don't want DC to overcome what Marvel is, when it is for the children and all that. I think it's more family oriented with Marvel because DC is really gritty and grimy and dark if you look at it. Because Batman's on there. Batman's dark as hell.
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
If you look at the OG, the detective comics, like the original Batman stuff, they got gutter.
Yeah.
That was a gutter storyline.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Gucci. Nah.
Hell no. With a capital hell.
No. However, hell yeah to the brother Dapper Dan, but Gucci, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Because they've been doing some racist shit lately. The hell with Gucci.
Trick Daddy. Hell yeah. I'll deal with Trick Daddy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'll post some Trick Daddy.
Hell yeah. You can't. You gotta acknowledge the man, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta rock with
Daddy.
Yeah.
Big up to the Daddy Dollars for sure.
Nike Air Max. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
My girl just got a pair of them joints. I'm gonna get a matching pair.
Oh yeah, Max's is the shit, dog. I love Max's.
Hell yeah.
Childish Gambino. Hell yeah or hell no. Hell yeah. I like Childish Gambino.
Hell
yeah. Like him? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? I'm talking about the creativity and his music.
Bro, you
I like
okay?
his music. His music.
You ever watch ATL?
You like using pain just
I like ATL. I like the show ATL. I think he actually pushed a lot of the envelopes with ATL.
He
It
did,
was
man, but
it
it's
was an
just too
interesting
many
show. I did the show.
too many white balls to be on the screen at ATL, bro. Like it's just weird, man. Like it's always some white dude's balls on the screen, bro. Like shit.
Oh, I ain't seen that. I've
And
never
did you
seen
see?
the whole series, so that's news to me, and I'm glad I don't know.
And did you
Yeah,
see the
he,
Hillary Clinton?
yeah.
Did you see the Hillary Clinton pantsuit he wore to the Oscars after party, bro?
Well, see now
So
his public life,
oh,
I don't get with his public life and who he married and all that. But I
that
did
nigga
like the
going through some
fact that
things.
he pushed he really highlighted the con game with the what's it called it? Oh gosh. The Foster con game. He highlighted that in one of his episodes, which I thought was
Okay.
pretty dope. You know,
Interesting.
Okay.
so he
I'm
does
gonna go
push
with a
that.
hell yeah.
Then the
I'm gonna go with a hell
reparations,
yeah.
with the reparations episode, I think he
Yeah.
pushed the envelope some with that. I think it was
I'll give a
comical.
hell yeah to his art for the most
Yeah,
part.
so his art.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. To his
Um,
art.
Donald. So for Childish Gambino, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, the brother that has some work to do.
Hey,
But
man.
Exactly.
Shit.
I'm a rubber stamp the Childish.
Hill of
feel you on that.
Frames. Yeah.
All right. Whiz Kid. Who's that? Is that
Hell
the
yeah.
African? The African dude?
Yes. Yes.
The
Hell yeah.
Afro beats.
I don't know him like that.
What?
Nah.
That's my
I've
guy
heard
right
of
there.
him, but I don't really know him like that. Like I
I
He
know
only
got
know
that.
his
Burna
music.
Boy, but
I don't know anything else around him. But
yeah.
hell yeah to the music. That Afro beats be
Yeah.
popping.
His music,
Yeah.
he got some bangers, bro.
Oh, okay.
Bangers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cedric the Entertainer. I like Sid.
Hell
And
yeah.
hell yeah to Sid.
Hell yeah.
I fucks with
That's a
Sid,
dude
man.
right
Sid is a
there.
That's the
cool dude.
OG.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, I like
Popeyes.
Sid.
Hell yeah. I eat some fucking Popeyes. I like Popeyes.
Hell yeah. You
Yeah.
can't pass up
Oh,
on Popeye.
Nah, you
Popeye.
can't Popeye.
And
Can't pass
also, I'm probably one of the few people I rock with Popeye's biscuits. I don't care what nobody says. I rock with the biscuits,
Yeah,
y'all
yeah. The
sleep.
biscuits is off the
Man.
chain.
That
It's
buttermilk.
way better than the KFC biscuits because I throw them dry ass shits out.
And those shoot.
NWACP. Hell no. Fuck.
Hell no.
No.
That bullshit ass corporation. Do you know they came out
No.
against the reparations in California?
Yeah, they
Mhm.
came out with that, and
Oh
then
yeah.
they came out
And then
with
once they
some.
got that backlash, they tried to walk it back. Like, oh no,
Yeah,
it was one
they came
person. We
out.
didn't actually vet the.
They so
Yeah,
goddamn useless.
they came out with
Oh,
some advisory for Florida too. I was like, oh god, come
You
on,
saw
man,
that?
get some
I saw that and
tangible.
I saved it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I was
oh
just
man.
chuckling.
Yeah,
That ain't nothing
Man.
but
do
dummy
something
crap.
constructive, man. Do
That's
something
dummy
very
crap
constructive.
nonsense.
Yeah.
You're there to do
That's
something
dummy
constructive
crap
because
nonsense.
the Jewish chapters, they don't play around. They get shit done. It's
Yeah.
always the Negro chapters that don't get shit done. It's symbolic
Mhm.
bullshit. So
Because
forget
that's the
that.
purpose. The purpose isn't to move us anywhere.
Exactly.
Right.
Breaking Bad.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I
Classic.
seen it. I don't even
That was
think
a
I've
great
seen
show.
some of that.
Classic.
I think I missed
And I
out on
will
that one.
say, definitely been. See, I missed it when it was a thing and everyone was watching it. I missed it,
Yeah.
but I binged the episodes on Netflix.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good. I'm glad I got to do it too because no one got to ruin
Killer.
any episodes for me or spoil nothing. I
Yeah.
just got to go through it organically. That was a great show. Big ups to what's called man Walter Mitty.
Cranston.
Big ups to
Brian
Bryan
Cranston.
Cranston.
Okay.
Monster.
I rock with them heavy. On Malcolm in the Middle as
Yeah.
Hal.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had the depth to play that character because that character went through some interesting transformations. That was
Yeah.
great writing right there.
And you
Really
gotta
dope.
watch that shit, man. Top
Yeah,
5
I'm gonna
TV
check it
shows
out.
of all time.
I think it's on Netflix, so I'll check it out.
It's on this. I didn't understand why the hype was at the level it was when I
Mhm.
didn't watch it. After seeing it, I get the hype, and I definitely agree it needs to be up there in them top lists for sure.
Top
Oh.
5 of all time. Real
All
talk.
right.
I'll accept that. I can
Yeah.
accept that.
All right. Lee Daniels. Hell no. Fuck no.
Hell no.
No. No. Lee Daniels. No.
Hell no.
After he tried
Oh.
to do that little shady joint with the brother from The Rock.
Oh, you mean Dame?
Dame. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had to come.
Dame
Dame had to
Dash.
come check him about his
That
money. No,
Not
I
and the
even
always
other
tell
just
people
stuff
that.
this. I always tell people this,
and his
and
other
all the
nonsense that he got
all
going
the
on.
fellas that's out there listening, I
Yeah.
want you guys. This is a code for fellas, right? This will make sure that you're not on no janky shit. As fast as you go out there to go get somebody's money and borrow their money is exceptionally how fast you need to bring that shit back.
Real talk.
Don't wait
Ultra
don't
facts.
wait for nobody to ask you about the money you went and borrowed because you took all the guts to go borrow it. Go have them same guts to run back and give them back their bread. I remember
Right.
I gave somebody back some money. I borrowed some money one time, a long time ago, and I gave them back their money. They said, "Damn, brother, I totally forgot about this bread." Because they know I
I
don't even
didn't.
ask for it.
Mm.
But I said, dog, let me tell you something. I don't owe nobody out here. And I make
Right.
it a pride to say I don't owe nobody out here.
Right.
Fellas, make
Face
sure
face
you have that
clean.
code of conduct. Yes, definitely.
Gotta
Real
have your
All
talk.
right.
face clean out here.
Miami Heat. Hell yeah. They
Yeah,
with it right now.
yeah.
I think they
Look like
And
the
I
boy's about
just
to
and I
go.
just saw the pop
Yeah.
up. We didn't put a foot. We put a whole kneecap up that
Oh yeah, franchise
Yeah.
history. They made franchise
busted.
history 30-point.
We
They were beaten by 30-point deficit. So that was the first time we had a big lead like that in
get your
franchise history.
Swiffers, get
That's
your
what's up.
Dyson, your whatever. We about to sweep.
Yeah,
It's
The
we
going
boys ain't
down.
ready
one more
But
and we in the finals.
woo,
Stacey
again.
Abrams. Oh hell no.
hell no.
Stacey Abrams, no. I'm good off Stacey
What's
Hell
Abrams.
no.
what's lower than hell?
Below hell.
Whatever that is, below hell, nah.
Woo.
Matter of fact, get the
Boy,
place underneath that. If that
I
happens,
never
if
saw
it
the
has
big
down,
hype. I never
Yeah.
saw the big hype. What's the big deal about Stacey Abrams?
do nothing Negro.
Yeah.
She's
Another
just
one.
another Kamala Obama. That's it.
Only thing she
Uh,
good at is for shit talking black men,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh yeah.
talk about completely ignoring black men unless it's shit talking, and then when they don't get elected, want to blame black men. Oh, why
Mm-hmm.
didn't you vote for me?
She's
yeah.
Well,
disgusting.
your anti-black misandry didn't help matters.
That didn't help.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Go sit your ass down and move around.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kelly Rowland. Hell yeah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
That's our sister.
Fuck. That's my sister, man.
I
Ooh,
rocks with
she's a
Kelly heavy.
I rock
Who
Yes.
with Kelly.
also has a healthy respect for black
For
men,
black men.
Yes,
and
Shout
it's
out Kelly
grossly.
Rowland.
She loves black
definitely.
men out loud with her actions. How she
I love that.
conducts herself.
I love that
Salute and
about our sister.
appreciate her.
And let me tell you something. I like her as far as her. Y'all might not think she got good acting skills, but she did a good job. And I like the show. It was a real good show called Seat Filler. If y'all haven't seen a movie called Seat Filler with her and Dwayne Martin, man, that's a funny movie, man. And it also
Okay.
had the brother, what's the comedian? Oh gosh, the little red comedian that was in Barbershop. God, I forgot his name.
Oh, I'm never gonna remember the name.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I see his face. I can't get this
Yeah,
name.
I can't remember either. But yeah, definitely y'all check that out. Seat Filler. All right,
But
No, D-Ray.
D-Ray, that's it.
D-Ray, there we go.
D-Ray.
Got it.
D-Ray's in there, and the black girl from Spice, the black Spice
Okay.
girl's in there.
Scary Spice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scary Spice.
Hmm.
Oh man, it's a good
Interesting.
movie, man. Real good love
Interesting.
movie, yo.
Bet.
Lace fronts. Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Never.
No.
No.
Oh, you mean to toss him in the dumpster fire? Hell yeah. Yeah.
All right.
No.
MMA. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Bobby Drake. He on his way.
Nice. Yeah. Definitely gonna see Drake up in there.
It's going down.
I was laughing at that video. I was laughing at your video at one point. I swear.
I gotta keep the face. I gotta keep my face pretty, man. This is the money making, so I get paid out here.
No, let me tell you something. It will make you laugh when y'all see two men fighting, and then there's like some positions y'all get in. It's like that shit is hilarious, dog. But it's funny as hell though. It's comical. But yeah, You did a great job.
All that Mexican ground fighting. shout out to my young boy Josh, man. Doing big things.
Definitely. Two warriors out there doing their thing.
Yay.
Lamar Jackson. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That boy's a problem.
Yes, sir.
That boy's a problem.
Yes,
and
sir.
he got his money.
Hell yeah.
Yes, he got his money. Basketball wise.
Get your paper.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Basketball birds? Hell no.
Hood rat. Hell no.
I wouldn't dare insult wifehood by calling them basketball wives. That's basketball birds.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Jesus.
Michael Blackson.
I give him a hell yeah. I rock with Michael Blackson. He's funny.
He's funny at times.
He's funny.
Some of the
I know I'm trying to remember. I know he's had some suspect shaky things recently with him. I'm trying to remember what they exactly are. But in terms of the comedy, for the most part, it's a hell yeah. I'd be laughing and cracking up at his stuff.
He's nice. He's nice.
All right, so that's for this week's of Hell Yeah, Hell Nah.
Yay.
Definitely. Before we get into our crown check real quick, we do want to run down 5 points of what we talked about today, just to give clarity of what we had going on, which is the gender wars. And we just want to run down the 5 types of people that keep the gender wars going. People that do not know how to properly articulate their grievances with opposite gender. People that do not know how to accept constructive criticism. 3, people that coddle and make excuses for people whose behavior needs correction. 4, people that refuse to change. And 5, which I think is one of the most frequent, is miserable people that want people to be alone and unhappy like they are. And those are the 5 types of people that keep the gender war going. You guys can write that down and take notes of these people. And if you can, avoid them. If they don't want corrective behavior, just avoid them. Sometimes crashing and burning on their own is the only way they'll change. You got to treat them like somebody that's addicted to drugs, an addict. A lot of times you can take an addict and bring them to rehab. They won't go, they won't stay. But if they really want the help, they'll come to you and say that they want the help, and then show you that they're willing to change by any means necessary. So if they're not going to be at that level, just stay away from them and just level up with people out here that are trying to get positive and healthy conversations going. With that being said, let's go down to our next and final segment, which is Crown Check. Yeah.
You know why I'm here.
So when we talk about gender wars, we always talk about, this person, I think, relates to the subject because this woman is such a profound woman, a super dope entertainer, and a super dope activist. A lot of people might have seen her on a couple of videos, interviews, and just have been doing some really dope stuff out here and making some real monumental quotes and statements that really inspire and uplift the Black community for both Black men and Black women. And that recipient is no other than Nina Simone. And definitely, Nina Simone was an American singer, songwriter, pianist, and a civil rights activist. Her music spans styles including classical, folk, gospel, blues, jazz, R&B, and pop. She was just that versatile with whatever she was doing. Also, Simone's consciousness on racial and social discourse was prompted by her friendship with playwright Lorraine Hansberry. Simone stated that during her conversations with Hansberry, we never talked about men or clothes. It's always about Marx, Lenin, and revolution, girl talk. The influence of Hansberry planted the seed for the proactive social commentary that became an expectation in Simone's repertoire, right? So one of Nina's more hopeful activism anthems, "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black," was written with a collaborator, Weldon Irving. In the years following the playwright passing, acquiring the title of one of Hansberry's unpublished plays, Simone's social circles include notable Black activists such as James Baldwin, which we talked about and we honored one night as well. Stokely Carmichael, which is one of my favorite activists, been doing this thing. Langston Hughes, as you know, that's monumental right there. And the lyrics of her song, Backlash Blues, were written by Langston Hughes. And also, beyond the civil rights movement, Simone's social commentary has not limited to the civil rights movement. The song "For a Woman" exposes the Eurocentric apparent standards imposed on Black women in America, and it explored the internalized dilemma of beauty that is experienced between four Black women with skin tones ranging from light to dark, and explains in her autobiography, "I Put a Spell on You," that the purpose of the song was to inspire Black women to define beauty and identify to themselves without the influence of societal impositions. So Chardine Taylor Stone has noted that beyond the politics of beauty, the song also describes the stereotype roles that many Black women have historically been restricted to: the mammy, the tragic mulatto, and the sex slave. And that's super dope of what she was able to do. And we love Nina Simone, everything she stood for, her activism, just being a strong pillar for the Black community, especially during that time when Black women was definitely looked upon in an iconic way. And we was just so grateful for her to come through and during our lifetime. And that's our queen check for the night. So with that being said, I'll let you fellas wrap up what you wanted to say and close to the topic of tonight, gender wars.
Well, listen, real quick, I'm not going to be too long. At the end of the day, like I said, a lot of these so-called gender wars, you go back to the list, it comes mostly from people who are not able to properly articulate their issues with the other gender, or from people who are not able to accept the constructive criticism from the other gender. A lot of these so-called gender wars are rooted in poor communication. And if we can bridge that gap, then we can do really great things. We can come together and find the happy median where everyone is happy and where everyone is working together to make meaningful change. It can be done, but we have to be willing to change things about the way we communicate. And more broadly, we need to be willing to change things about ourselves. That's another big thing. It's actually, I think, number 3 on the list. People who are just unwilling to change. We got to get away from these rigid ideologies that are bearing no fruit. If you have a rigid ideology and great things are coming to fruition as a result of it, well, that's one thing. But, we cling to these rigid ideologies that are not working, and I think that is, the height of stupidity when you continue to do something over and over that you can see isn't working. So we have to be, in addition to better communicators, where the energy of what we're putting out is, something that someone is going to receive well, because we're putting it out there in our best possible way of putting it out there. We're putting it out there in a way whereas you can tell that we're trying to help. Even if we sound harsh, you can tell that this person cares. Farrakhan says some extraordinarily hard things, but no one doubts that Minister is trying to help with what he's saying. because of his track record and because of the way that he's speaking to you, if you're really paying attention. So going out and coming in, we need to work on our communication. We need to be willing to change, and we have to come out of our misery and want well for other people in our community. We have to want others to be able to succeed, and we have to help them be able to succeed in the realm of dating and relationships, and more broadly, and just relationships generally, so that we can build a strong Black nation. So that's what I gotta say. A lot of times it's not a gender war. It's simply, the people are just not coming to the table in good faith, and they're not responding in a way that is in a good faith response, whereas they're looking for the same change that they claim that they want to institute. It has to, you got to be consistent, folks. We got to be consistent. We got to be better to ourselves as a collective. And I'll end my plane.
Awesome. Bobby?
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, the question ultimately is, do you want peace or do you want war? That's what it comes down to for me, from my perspective. Because at the end of the day, we do have a lot of issues. Men and women, unfortunately, have gotten to a point now where we have been doing a bit of growth, or rather, I should say, movement, independent of each other, and we're a little further apart from each other than we have been in the past. So we have to realize that there are some things that's going on. We need to bridge the gap to some extent. There are things that men need to work on. There are things that women need to work on. There are issues that men have with women. There are issues that women have with men. Some of these things are founded and they have basis and justification. Some things are not, and are trivial and meaningless. But regardless, if you are unwilling to come to the table and to actually discuss, negotiate, and make concessions and compromise, nothing's going to get done. We need to learn not just communication, but we also need to learn negotiation. We need to learn compromise. You have things that you want, they have things that they want. If you think that you're going to be able to come to the table and just list out your demands, your wants and desires and needs, and you're going to be able to get up and walk away with everything you want while not having to yield or give up on anything, you are out of your rabbit ass mind.
Real
It
talk.
don't work that way. Trying to negotiate a zero-sum game is ultimately a losing effort, and you're basically wasting everyone's time. It's not going to happen. And doing that also creates more bad feeling, which further fuels the gender warring and going back and forth. Instead, you have your list of things that you believe need to be worked on. You discuss these things with each other. This is my concern. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Delivery does need to be minded, yes. The way that they're speaking and getting the points across does matter. However, we like to jump on the idea of tone. No, the delivery is the way they said it. There is some justification for that. However, communication has two parts. There's the speaking, the transmitting, but there's also the listening.
Yeah.
And that seems to always get lost in translation because you're so big on emphasis of, you didn't say it the way I like, so I have a problem. There's a responsibility for the speaker. There's also a responsibility for the listener.
Yes.
Do not be out here talking about you need a perfect speaker when you know good and hot damn well you are not a perfect listener. You can't listen to understand. You listen to respond and to counter. You can't let them finish their thought, their train of thought. You can't let them get it out. You have to jump and interrupt on them. You always have to internalize everything. You can't just listen objectively and just evaluate what's being said. There's always a catch or caveat with you.
Come on now.
It ain't gonna work. You have to be willing to come to the table, hear each other out, so you can have a good faith discussion. Once everything's on the table, you understand each other's train of thought. Now you play the bargaining game. What can you? What are you willing to? What is immovable for you? What is not up for negotiation? What things can you live without, or what things can you bend on? Because they're like maybe a middle ground we can reach on one of those things. And once you hash all that out, make the agreement. Walk away from the table together. You didn't get everything that you wanted. They didn't get everything they wanted, but you got something, and you can work and build off of that. That's negotiation.
Real talk.
It's essential. But if that's too much work, you'd rather go back and forth and bicker, then understand that we are in a gender war because you make it personal. Don't do like church. Turn your neighbor, say neighbor. No, don't turn to your neighbor. Mind your business. You are the reason why the gender war exists. Yes, it's on your shoulders.
Real talk.
When you do your part, you alleviate that burden, you lighten the load. But if you decide that you're going to be the obstacle,
well
if
said.
you want a solution, be the solution.
Exactly.
It may or may not be your fault, but damn it, take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Do your part, do your portion, and we can get about this thing. It's not worth it.
It is.
Definitely.
I parked my Tesla, charging overnight.
So just remember, everybody, that next week is Memorial Weekend. So fellas, you guys take the time to be with your family. I know it's one of the biggest weekends of the year. So we're gonna not do a show next week, so that way anybody has any plans, they can go ahead and do what they need to do with their friends and family, or just relax. So we're gonna take a break next week, and we'll be back the following week after that. And fellas, always remember to put your foot down, right? And make sure.
Hey, no. I took this one out for you. You take this one, I keep this. You are not taking my whole wallet so you can go shopping.
I was just going to buy some groceries.
I said what I said.
And she was like,
before we went out, just a reminder, going into Memorial Weekend, your wallet's gonna be tapped, fellas.
Hey.
This is a big weekend, so make sure that you guys are putting your foot down. You can shut out a little bit, but hey, I give you this, give me back my wallet, all right?
She got a 2-drink limit at Wet Willie's. She got a 2-drink limit.
Exactly.
better save the flavor.
Man, we love y'all. We appreciate all the feedback. Man, it's been so far a great year. Manifestations is only going to get bigger and better, and definitely. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. This week,
follow, like, and subscribe.
Stay safe. Like, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You got 2 weeks to help promote this to be bigger than what it is. Just remember, but we want to make sure that our friends and families and everybody watching this, that you guys stay safe. A lot of times when we go to into a big weekend, such as Memorial, you're dealing with tons of people, tons of traffic. So make sure that if you're a person that is gas heavy, foot heavy, and you're speeding a little bit, make sure you slow down extra this weekend. Go a little extra slower this weekend. If you're a person that's out there drinking and normally get drunk or twisted, make sure that you're doing a lot less drinking this, so you're more cohesive to what's going on and understanding your surroundings, and not get caught up in a situation you don't need to be caught up in.
Great.
Also,
Great
make
advice.
sure that you're not running around here to go here, because when you're expanding yourself in different places, you increase the risk of something happening to you, and that's not in a positive way. So just take these advice during this time that it's a bunch of chaos and a big weekend where you're celebrating. We want you to celebrate, but do it in a safe way on behalf of Manifestations 2020. And with that being said, we are up out of here. So
you already know.
Family. We love y'all. See y'all in 2 weeks. All right?
Much love.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.